Well, today was supposed to be a very Emmy-centric episode of Spoopy Kingmaker, but there's no Emmy because they fixed the bathtub under her apartment, and it's too dank in her apartment right now to play Kingmaker, I guess. So welcome to Improv Town Population Me, and welcome, my friends, to more sweet, sweet Spoopy Kingmaker, the now 7 of you. Thank you so much for your support, keeping us pandemic-proof and paying the bills on a $250,000 home, which is still, that is officially set in, that, like, I own that.
Can we all just take a moment to give Tommy a bit of a round of applause for that one?
Woo. I can't clap and you push the talk.
God damn it.
Oh, wait, I got something better here.
Oh, good.
Please tell me you got like a voice mod thing.
Going to the meme factory.
Oh, nope, he's going to memes.
I
Just want to say,
dang it, it didn't work.
silent.
Slow clap.
Yeah, there, now it works. It's it has to be italicized.
It does. You gotta italicize the Jesus out of it.
Hey, what did you say about using, like, voice thing? Is that a thing that you can do?
No, I turned that off.
Actually, I'm in a Rise of the Runelords game on Tuesday night, and one of the players has this voice modulator for in-character, and it's a thing. It's a choice that you could make. I'm gonna yell at Emmy. We're starting whenever you can get here.
The only one that Yetfield kind of likes right now.
Yeah, exactly. She's very important, damn it, but I've rambled enough. I'm stalling.
Ben was gonna try and be friends with the lizard man, but Ben was more focused on his family last night.
Vin has been focused on his family basically the entire Spoopy Kingmaker.
Well, when you start off the damn game by killing off one of Vin's siblings, you know.
Well, you know, man, it is what it is. Wait till Leon realizes that finger's gonna come back as some plague zombie.
It could be worse. He could have started you off with genociding half of your population for.
Okay, rather than right.
Hey, no, he's talking about FFD20. He's talking about Heralds of Dawn. This nerd.
Oh yeah, that one too. Oh yeah.
We might go back to that at some point. Now that Nick is a big patron once again, that kind of on like the back of my mind to be like, I missed that system. That was fun. But
it was fun being the reformed Nazi.
Before Jeff starts yelling at me about talking too much and not play, I gotta watch my phone because he'll text me and be like, "Hey, where are we going? Where are we going?" Okay, sorry, Jeff. Let's to put a voice with a token. Yeah, he's here. I think.
Just permanently muted.
Just permanent. Is he permanent muted? He might have got out.
On server, it's his.
I don't know. He has been muted since you switched between push to talk and not push to talk.
There we
Okay, he's alive. He lives. He lives. We figured it out. Technical difficulties are for nerds and people who play 5e.
He did a Sven.
He stayed muted for the whole session, so we just thought he was asleep.
Well, at least he had the decency to show that he was muted.
Fair. All right, Ross, in character reflection for that sweet, sweet hero point. Go, go, go. Who are you? What are you? How you feeling?
Hello. My name is Vincent Jimerson. I am the human druid of the group. I am the local boy. Timberfall is my hometown. Well, it was the town that was built by it was built by my brother and his wife, so I'm kind of used to this place, and my family's well known in these parts. As for how I've been feeling recently, I feel a little bit better. Recently, with new natural powers, I've started to feel a little bit more like I'm coming into my own as a proper druid. And I can now change my shape at will, which is pretty interesting and powerful. I did not expect to be able to do that ever, but I guess maybe I am starting to understand this whole nature magic that Lively always talks about and all these others go on about. As for how I'm feeling about everything else going on, we really need to try and help our new friend out, get back to his people to explain all that's going on, especially since it sounds like his people might be in the thick of all of this going on. So, yeah, he did seem pretty upset last night, so I did not want to bother him.
Rather just sit as a bird and watch the reptilian humanoids be friends. Good enough. Take that hero point. Next, it's the... God damn it. I don't... Oh, wait. I get it. I get the meme now. It took me a second. It will always take me a second. I'm definitely that oblivious guy. Hi, Chalo is. What can I say? I am the sorcerer. Jeff, Who are you? How are you? Tell us all about that partner you had. 7 days have passed in game. Or Jeff is dead.
Has he been Yamcha'd?
He's been Yamcha'd.
Okay, how about now?
There we go.
Yes.
No wolf fang
It's
fist here.
weird. No, because it's fucking. I click on the app and then it works, and then can you still hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what about now?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. It's fucking stupid. Any hoodles. I'm awesome. Chosen by the gods. He is a human oracle of the sun eagle god, and he's now decided to maybe build a sun cult around himself, or maybe become a master tactician. I don't know. We're going to figure the whole thing out. Talking to local people will be fun. I've become a lot more intimidating, a lot more charming, but a lot dumber. So this is going to be fun.
Fair enough. He's gone full Kaminari.
I'm going to do my best to ignore the fact that you just used the word any hoozles in a sentence.
You better leave any hoozles out of this. It's full on Dr. Seuss and good enough. Take that hero point, my friend. Next. I started watching Markiplier's run through of Resident Evil, and he calls Carlos Big E, and I don't know why, but then I look over at Elric, and I just hear, Big E's a coming! Elric, I'm not going to say that again. It's going to be so stuck. God, I hate everything.
Hey, Amy.
So that'll be...
Hey, good, we have a session. Great. Oh,
Very good.
A+, Elric, give us that danking character.
Technical problems delayed us enough that she could make it.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, right?
Emmy's bathroom
Yeah,
underneath her apartment is being fumigated, so if she gets very high in the middle of the session, it's just going to be a good night. That's all it is.
Wait, why am I getting high? What?
I mean, I assume when you say in Discord, and I quote, also maybe a few minutes later not make it at all since they're finishing the bathtub in the apartment directly below us, so we left since the fumes gave us headaches. I suppose alternatively you just die from the fumes.
Now I understand the SpongeBob meme.
Ah, got him. All right, Elric.
Yes. All right. Once again, I'm playing as Elric von Almar. I'm a human wizard. Already prestige classing into Grimmer Keeper and Mage of the Arcane Order. That last one is pretty fun. Lets me tap into all kinds of fun spells with this small delay. Well, for encounter reflection, last session Eric finally got some rest. As we successfully managed to save his brother Leon, who's now taking over the outpost that used to be run by Oleg before Oleg started feeding people to the necromancers. And on the way back from there to Timberfall, we met some lizard folk guy that was quite fascinating. He talks a bit funny, but he's extremely interesting. I mean, because we can talk about his cultural differences, like they eat their people when they die and stuff like that. And it's interesting to talk with people who have like such a different culture. You know, our party consists mostly of humans, aside from our dear kobold Bard, Asimahar,
And Ragnar.
yeah. I mean, dwarven are like short humans, and then there are halfling, which are like even shorter humans.
I think you're making a lot of people pissed.
Yeah,
All
I
the
would
dwarf
feel
players in the
really
audience
attacked.
are immediately unsubscribing.
Bring up from holes in the ground.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting over here with an even worse opinion.
Be nice.
I prefer... Oh, no, that was me accidentally muting myself. I think elves are cooler than dwarves.
I mean, same.
Hey,
Hey!
prepare for that subscriber hit.
Yeah.
The-
And
The
we fixed
elves are
it.
jerks. They make their staircases too tall.
See, exactly. Anyway, good enough. Hero points all around. Meeting new people, making new friends. Emmy, the fumes are among us.
Yes, so I am playing Tuxedo the Copper Scale. I
Is it-
am a bit late because they were doing stinky, smelly, fumy, toxic construction below us. And so we had to leave the apartment with the newborn because stuff was giving us headaches and we opened up all the windows and now it's cold. But I am back. I am here. Oh gosh. Last session was a session for Tuxie. This is probably her first time spending time with another cold blood in like years. So, definitely interesting to, as Elric so eloquently stated, see the culture differences. But more importantly, he has a lot of wisdom to share. Like,
Does
there's something to said for being quiet every once in a while, which isn't something I'm necessarily good at, but maybe it's worth some practice.
Wow, someone's going to teach the bard to shoosh. Fair enough. Good hero point for you. And also, for today, take one, add a d6 to any d20 roll for you for all of the hard work you have done re the Google Sheet the past week, organizing ye old loot and taking leadership roles amongst the players, because it is dope and it does a lot of work for Tommy. And Ross is going to lose his fingers. I don't even have to look. I know that keyboard. It haunts me in my sleep. But I digress.
Turned on the noise suppression again.
Mwahaha, noise suppression. All right, Gregor, who is not mercenary from Fire Emblem. He's actually a Warhammer reference, like 5 of my Kingmaker characters.
Yeah.
But I mean,
5?
I like it.
I'm rounding up.
Warren.
I'm good.
Kato Sicarius, Trazen the Infinite, Gregor Eisenhorn.
Not Cato Sicarius. Oh
Kato
no.
Sicarius, son of Saul
Yeah.
Sicarius.
It's he spoils himself in the game.
Push it a little closer. I did basically base Grazak off of one of the Warhammer Fantasy Blizzardmen.
And there it is.
Oh yeah, Warhammer Fantasy does have lizard people. I was about to say 40k doesn't have lizard people too. Well, the Tau, I guess, are kind of... Tommy, take it away.
You know Warhammer Fantasy, but not Monster Mundi?
You know what Master Mundi is?
What do we know about Sven's in character reflection for his hero point? There's 7
yeah,
of us. We gotta go faster. Otherwise, it's an hour of this.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sven. I'm playing Gregor Eisenhorn, level 4 Slayer. And yeah, not much to say. There didn't happen so much for Gregor last session. He met someone new, someone from a race he didn't see that much and didn't read that much about. Yeah, we will see what will happen, how he will work together with the group, and how he will find himself to work with the group as someone that has a totally other upbringing and traditions.
I don't know who's the guttural in the background, but fair enough. Good enough. Hero points. Chewie. To be honest with you, there have been so many sessions that Ragnar has not been present that I'm always... Was Chewie there last time? What did Chewie do last time?
I was
Snakes? All right.
Okay. I'm playing Ragnar. I'm a dwarf. He's a war priest. He worships some Torah. And let's see here. With what happened, I met a lizard man. Lizard folk. Really nice. Really down to earth. They eat their dead, it seems, but that's about the only strange thing. But yeah, different cultures. Talk that on. If I had a bottle of alcohol for every time there was a different culture, I'd be drunk. Oh wait, I already am. But anyway, that's beside the point. We finally had a meeting with the leaders of the different different villages, kingdoms, whatever you want to call them, and Hopefully I get to make some weapons for an army or to help war here soon. I can almost smell those war forges cooking. Can't wait to obliterate the Whispering Way into a pile of nothingness. That's my in-character reflection.
Good enough. We'll take it. New guy.
Oh, is that my cue?
That's you, new guy.
I watched my peers get killed by a walking corpse, and now I'm in the company of people that I have no idea who they are, and they may or may not be part of a not-so-secret organization. How are you?
Not so secret.
I'm still a little confused by that thing with the Palatine, but we can get into that later.
I just love that it wasn't me who spilled the beans on that.
Joking
Like the person
aside,
with.
Wait, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I love that it was the person with the least. That I didn't spill it, even though I'm the person with the least connections to the order. I'm just a mercenary to them.
I mean, I guess Yatil he'd be lying if he said he wasn't a little bit curious about the dynamic of this entire gang. But be honest, if it were up to him, he would probably just, hightail it out of here and just find somewhere else. But he has to finish his mission, and these humans and Orf and Cobalt and company might be the best chance that these people might have. So we're gonna take him to Orthult. Then the council will decide what to do from there.
Alrighty. Works for me. Hero points all around, and I believe we pick up from a scene in the woods. If I check my RP channel. Gonna save the response for camera, if that's alright with Tommy and the rest of the party. So we had a bit of a... Between...
do we want to reenact that real quick?
Sure.
Reenact what?
It's in the roleplay channel.
In the roleplay channel. So where did it all start? So I was back at the town. Penny, you were kind of with me. New guy, are you with Penny?
No. Elric was with you. Penny was at the edge of the forest with our.
No, I meant that we had role played past that in the chat.
Oh, you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So new guy, are you with Penny?
I think so.
So Yatil is. Are we leaving? Are we starting off from the following morning or right after?
Probably from.
I guess if you guys want to take it from, sorry if I'm butting into shit, but it seems like I can sort of hear this. You two were talking outside. Do you guys want to come back inside, I guess, the next morning, or however let that conversation between you two? Because last time I saw you guys were out in the woods doing weird lizard people things, sticking your tongue out, looking at the sky, eating bugs.
Oh. As I said before, Yatil was preferred to keep his distance for right now. He had found a small clearing
1 second,
for himself
baby.
on the edge
Sorry.
of the woods.
Oh, God damn it.
And that's where he'll be spending his evening.
Makes sense. So it's probably like a first thing in the morning kind of thing.
Pinsel would bring him some soup. During dinner time or whatever. Assuming I can find him.
Yeah, you had before.
I'm staying. I'll be in the same spot where I was.
I'll just kind of approach and be like, "Hey, Yotal or Yatil, would you like some soup?"
No need.
You, sir?
Yes.
Well,
Is this in the evening?
yeah, I mean, it's probably about dinner time. Well, Cersina insisted that I at least give it to you. And I'm gonna, just put the bowl nearby along with some bread.
All right, back. Putting headphones.
Yay.
Motherhood.
Till will silently acknowledge you, but besides from that, he won't say anything.
Let me know if you need anything else. And Ven's just gonna head back to the town.
All right, where are we at? So,
And-
I'm so sorry. I had to put the baby in a potato sack.
Nice.
What? What? What?
It's an old Chicago
That's what we
tradition.
call her little. It's like a swaddle sack thingy that you zip up. We call it a potato sack. It looks like a potato sack, and she loves.
Nice.
So
So probably like the morning after is when you go find Devin, I would think.
Yeah, sounds about right. Give Tuxie a night to reflect on it.
And so it was.
So it was.
So tomorrow morning you will find Devin sitting there talking to some of the local people, blowing their own horns, tooting their own horns, blowing horns, saying all kinds of fantastical things about them. They believe it because he's good at bluffing, but he's kind of scary. And I'm like, yeah, thanks to us, we saved your village from the undead and the Red Hand. You should be very grateful to me, shouldn't you? And then they like give him a couple of silvers as a way of saying like, thank you. But he's really entertaining, but kind of scary. And they're all very confused and they just want to leave. So you find Devin flipping coins and looking at his reflection in a pond that's now there. I like that idea. We have a what do you call those damn things? A wishing well or something?
Yeah.
A wishing well.
Yes.
Collecting pool.
I mean,
Yeah.
we probably have a well.
Koi pond, but it's baby tassel worms.
Boom. It's canon.
So it was. It's in the wiki.
What happened to you?
When?
Like, little you, young you. Why? Oh my gosh, how do I put this? Why are you such Why
An
are you such
amazing
an
person?
ass? No.
Tactitional genius?
What?
Really, really good looking? I mean, what is it? There's lots of things that I am. Get to the point, Penny.
How close is
What
this
happened to
where
you
Yatiel
to
is
make
at?
you such a jerk? Like, I don't know. At first I thought it was funny and amusing, but the more
That's because it was. You laughed. So if you laughed, that means I was right and I was funny. So high five. Boom. Or low five because you're tiny.
Seriously, why? What happened to you that makes you so needy for all this attention all the time? I mean, like, I know I'm one to talk, but
I mean, what else are you supposed to do when you're the seventh son of a seventh son and you're barely a rank above common and all you want to do is be awesome and have people love you because no one ever pays attention to the child by himself until he wanders off into the damn woods one day, falls and hits his head, rolls down into a stream, and is saved by a giant fucking koala man.
Oh.
That's a lot to unpack.
What?
I'd like to think the rest of us just walked up to hear that, please.
The entire party just turns the corner. Whoa.
We're all staring at him now.
Let the two of them roleplay, damn it.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, no beard was the only thing that ever paid attention to me. I pretty much grew up like I think we had like a butler, but when you have a butler trying to work with 7 other people, no one had time to hold Devin. No one read stories to Devin at night. It was very lonely. Only my reflection and my remarkable boyish charm to keep me company, other than, you know, the giant koala monster.
all right, come here.
What are you doing?
Tuxie gives Devin a hug.
Aww. You're kind of cold.
Well, I haven't snuggled with Smiles in a bit, so I actually do feel a little bit cold. Yeah, you can't heat my own blood up. It's a thing, but
Can I prestidigitate her blood warmer?
aw.
Not like her
Actually,
blood warmer.
I don't
Let-
think that's how it
Lest
works.
we start the whole I can prestidigitate and cause someone to melt with a cantrip, haha. That whole fucking thing. But you can certainly like warm her scales.
Okay.
The equivalent of a heat lamp.
There we go.
Wait, what about the clothes that she's wearing? That she has like her little cow is like a heated blanket.
Just walking around with a snuggie.
Sounds amazing.
I mean, those don't really
Okay.
provide heat. They just prevent heat from leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can touch me now. You're warmer. Give me a hug.
Touch me now.
You have friends now, so maybe chill with trying to get so much attention from the locals and mostly their coin, but also their attention. And yeah,
So you can go off and abandon me too? So you can go off and run and go play lawyer somewhere else? I know how these things work. This isn't my first little adventure, Penny. This is fun while it lasts, but eventually you're going to die and abandon me, or you're just going to go off to the next adventure. So it's fun while you're hanging around. Don't expect much of it.
well, I suppose if that's what you're worried about, I'll just have to prove you wrong. And I think I already did that, considering I managed to stitch you back together when you were cut in half, which was kind of my fault,
After
but also
you
not
pulled
really.
me apart!
I mean, I didn't know you would come in half. It just sort of happened.
Yeah, so thanks for fixing the problem that you caused. How about breakfast? Where is New Guy? Not that I want to eat New Guy, but I figured I wanted to talk to New Guy.
Play nice.
Of course I'm going to play nice. We have a chance to recruit an entire race of lizard people. This is going to be awesome.
Cooksey rolls her eyes.
So where is Yahtzee at?
I love that.
God damn it.
And now every time Yatil just continues to roll those big X3 crits, just Yahtzee!
Every time I'm in these streets, they hear me, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my god, thank you. I'm so glad somebody got that.
Oh, I got it. Fucking, that's Takashi, ain't it?
I'll explain later. Moving on.
Neat.
Like I said before, Yatil is in the same spot he was this morning. He's doing what I guess looks like the equivalent of crocodile Tai Chi.
Cool. So I walk up to him and I'm like, hey, New Guy, we're about to go out and we're supposed to meet with your leader, the wrinkly one. Tell me about him.
Are you well prepared? Kind of like, he like stops like mid pose and he's like, oh, it's you. All of your other friends awake?
Probably.
What time of the day is it, by the way?
Morning.
Yeah, morning.
Early morning or like 11:30 morning? You know
I'd
what?
imagine like 9, 10, time for brunch and 11sies, but close to before 11sies. Just before 11sies.
Yeah.
Finn is a country boy. He gets up at the sunrise and goes down with the sunset.
Vin's already done all his
Six
chores
o'clock.
already.
Okay. I'm almost prepared with my routines for the day. Once your comrades are supped and prepared for travel, we shall go.
We're always ready. That's what happens when you're one of Devin's disciples. You're always on your toes and ready for action.
Right.
So, tell me about the wrinkly one. I want to impress him. Your leader, didn't you say you had a leather or wrinkly or something?
Speak of the withered one.
Yes, withered one. That's him. Tell me about him.
I've told you too much about him already. Besides, it will most likely be the decision of the Council of 16 to decide on how we will approach this. Suppose it is a war, no?
I mean, an undead mummy just killed your best friend, so yeah, we're in deep shit here.
Indeed. And eyes sort of narrow when you make that remark.
Tuxie also
the
jabs
otherwise-
him as he does so.
Ow, what? It's the truth.
Oh, little one's here. Let's see you behind. I didn't see her. I
Sorry, I was
Okay.
ordering breakfast.
So, are you prepared for going to Orthult? The rest of your comrades ready?
Well, I don't know about the rest of them, but I can't really say that I'm ready, but I'm as ready as I'll ever be. So, no point in dilly-dallying.
Should we bring them a gift? Do you want like a fish or something? Does that make a good impression?
We'll have a long ways to go, jabbery one. I'll explain plenty as we go there. I'll finish my routine later. We'll go see the rest of your comrades. And that Yatil would like to go forward, and he'd like you guys to show you where the rest of the team is. So I'll bring the bull back.
Cool. Where's everybody else at?
Good guy Util takes his dishes back to the kitchen after.
They're probably in the kitchen at the bar working on the breakfast orders and whatnot. Or helping Cersei with them.
I'd
Yeah, probably
directly back
breakfast.
to
I'm eating breakfast
Breakfast
at the
table.
bar.
Yeah. And Rick will be there with Ragnar, probably talking technical stuff, alchemy, explosives. It's good stuff.
Very good stuff. Good morning conversation.
Explosives.
It's light.
Gregor got
Light
anything?
conversations.
I love the smell of alchemist fire in the morning.
Oh, me too. Does Gregor got anywhere Gregor wants to be special in the morning, or is it just, how convenient, we're all down at breakfast?
Yeah, let's do that.
I got it.
You actually see Ragnar drinking milk. It's not alcoholic.
You realize Ragnar's finally lost his liver.
Tuxie sniffs it to see if it's Bailey's.
You realize Ragnar's in fact drinking it from a shoe.
For
Yikes.
me,
I think it's a bit late for a growth sport, right?
Shut
Got
up.
him. I thought it was funny.
I just
Morning beer.
Tuxie is also
smell like
offended.
he is fermented.
Should we order one glass of milk for you too, Tuxie?
No, don't go drinking all the milk. We only have so many goats in town.
Wait, so Vin, you are in the back cooking, right?
And probably imagine, I don't think there's a separate, room for the kitchen and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, as I've described this particular place, it's
like
like
The
all
Witcher.
of the taverns in The
Yeah.
Witcher 3. Like,
And you kind
there's,
of see a kitchen taverns, most of them.
it's kind of like a hearth in the middle of the floor from whence the cooking is done, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Then just
Also,
Devin will
it's like-
take a damn, what do you call it? Not a chalice, but I'm sure they're cheaper than a chalice. It's the big muggy thing. So pound it on the table and be like, "Hello,
think-
boy, come here."
Okay. You want some porridge first? I managed to find some blueberries this morning when I was out on a morning walk.
Fuck yes, I love blueberries. You are awesome. Thank you. See, this is why I knew we need to keep you alive. You are so useful.
Are you okay? You seem to be a bit more quick to give praise today.
I mean, you're still very much serving me breakfast. I'm like, good job. Thanks for bringing me breakfast. Don't get a fucking big head about it. Anyway, you ready to roll pretty soon? We got to take Lizard Boy back to his place, and I figured you want to say goodbye to your family that you love so much, because we're probably going to go on a big dangerous mission and fucking get killed in the woods. But hey, all part of life.
Do we have to leave so soon? I'd love
I
to
will-
stock up on some spell scrolls, but I need time for that.
I will give my life to protect yours as I down the.
To go talking about death just now. Surely we've established that we can survive, especially if we're cautious and aware.
Well, if you remember the last time we went into the swamps, it was quite a deadly place. There were creatures there that even now I don't think we could challenge.
Just because you do not know the way. I do. And with some assistance, we'll be able to make it there with relative safety.
He knows the way.
It must be
Knows
on.
the way.
Know the way.
My family does not travel much.
All right, no, we're not gonna start saying that name. Sorry.
So, that sounds good. Do any of the rest of you need breakfast? I've managed to get most of us here ready to go.
Yeah,
I-
I guess how many days of travel would it be?
That is a fair question.
It's also a knowledge, nature, or geography check.
It's a hop, a skip, and a jump.
Also,
Can only Yotal make it, or could I make it too?
no, you definitely can.
Oof.
Well, we have to go
I
over
do not
the river and through the
suppose
woods.
I could get a circumstantial bonus since I technically walked the way already.
You're technically from there. So
Sorry about the diplomacy. Yeah, that wasn't on. I don't know.
y'all
where that-
are looking at it kind of depends on how you go and which direction, but Orthult is about 50 miles through the Gnarl Marshes on the other side of the Gnarl Marshes. This is Yatil knows you're gonna cut through terrain that's a little easier for him, amphibious, to get through than everybody else. As far as like Vin knows, you don't really go much farther than the Gnarl Marches, and like your experience, your training, your time with Lively has taught you that like the Aruxi tribes in the region keep to themselves by and large. They have a couple of like strictly speaking trading outposts, just like you have a thing, I have a thing. We will trade the thing.
We've established that some tribes have come through Timberfall before.
Right. Orthult is different. Orthult is like nobody goes there. They very much like their isolation. They're like anytime you get a little too close, like Lively has taught you the signs of like if you cross here, the Orth as they're known, they will see it as a like violation of their borders and they may respond in force. It probably will be different with Yatil with you.
Yeah.
That said, it's still like they're not the biggest fans in the world of outsiders.
Most of my
I have
most-
all the geographical knowledge. I net 20 the draw.
Wait, are there even maps of this area? Well, yeah, I guess there are. Duh.
There's like, I mean, like on the other side of the Gnarl Marches, there's more like marshy ground. On the other side of that is where the region's orc tribes live, up in like the Glenabin Uplands, go a little farther in Numeria, that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's where my other sister lives. Orchid. She lives out that part of the area.
Your sister is an orc?
No, she's married to an orc.
Oh.
Technically,
Insane,
she's a war
but
chief.
different.
Technically, I think she's a war chief since she did defeat her husband in ritualistic combat, but...
Oh,
that was a very interesting 12th birthday.
Oh, they do that. Wait, 12th?
I was 12. She's older than me.
Oh.
He's the youngest, I think, right?
Yeah, Vin is
Yes.
what, 17, 18?
Finn is 19.
19,
His
got it.
sister is his youngest sister, Orchid, is 26. He's the baby by far. He's the Fey child, quote unquote, to make a reference that I don't think any of you guys will get.
I get it.
Hey!
You explained it last time, I think, or
Yeah.
the time before.
Most of my understanding of the region, to be honest, friend, is simply what my teacher taught me is where not to tread in that area. Simply because, from what I do know of your tribe, you don't care for people that are not part of it, for the most part. I am in no
Your
desire to
teacher
cause
was very
conflict.
wise then. However,
And I have the best knowledge books can give.
circumstances have changed, and especially if contagion is going to be affecting the land, will sooner or later dark people as well. But whether we decide to help in this war is not up for me to decide. Be up to the council. And, if needed, the guidance of the Withered One himself.
Very
I find-
mysterious.
So here's his
This
new ball back.
wizard one.
Lonely has been in these lands for far longer than most, if anyone I know. Curious she's ever met this withered one of yours. If they're a person that lives in this area.
Good
And
night.
again,
No one knows
and-
where Withered One was from before.
hmm,
Might
That's
very well
fair.
be. He might be native to your teacher's land, but I don't know. One truly knows.
well, neither do I, and we should probably not waste time on figuring this out, I imagine.
That
We can
is
only do so much pondering. Oh, did you enjoy the stew, by the way? I see you ate it.
was adequate.
That's good to hear. We weren't exactly certain what your palate would like, so we just went with something simple but filling.
Attila just nods as he hands the soup bowl back to you.
Then we'll go and start probably cleaning up the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think everyone should do their preparations in the morning so that we can head out as soon as possible.
Yeah, you can
And you guys
definitely
aren't
like
ready
even
yet?
like to Orthult and back is you're probably looking at a couple weeks. Probably. Like for Yatil it would be faster, for Yatil and Vin it would be faster. Then you start getting into like who can't turn into a bird, who can't breathe underwater, who has to do a series of like switchbacks over terrain that's bad, to say nothing of should you run into something that isn't the friendliest.
After all, I can turn into a bird for 2 hours.
Indeed.
Because I have that trait that doubles the time that I spend in smaller, tiny, I think it's just small
Yeah.
creatures.
Good old beast of the society.
Yep. Really nice.
Indeed.
Should we buy some rope and food before we head out then, just to be on the safe side?
So far as food
Yeah,
goes,
I was
the
going to
druid
grab
should be
some-
able to get food pretty darn easily. Like, the Gnarl Marches are they're dangerous. There's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't really want to share resources or territory, but that's not to say it's not a very verdant march. Marsh, rather. The march is a marsh. Fun.
It's full of life. The life just likes to kill you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if
Right.
I might make a suggestion in character, between our... Well, I know... Well, we know Vin's a druid, and I think Yatil would probably understand that's a druid, and pretty sure the Jabbery one also mentioned talking to birds. Assuming that's true, probably using some type of magic like that with communicating with the flora and fauna would probably also be very beneficial with not just for navigating, but avoiding potential dangers.
Indeed.
Could I buy some dry wood to use as firewood, since it's a moss? I bet there's not much
I mean,
dry wood to use.
buy, let alone, like, go out and collect some. It would be pretty negligible here. You're in a forest.
Gotcha. I didn't know if, it was dry or not, because I was like,
Yo, shut the fuck up.
That makes sense.
So Rope.
wood. Do you mean that is in like wood that's
Cool.
sick and let this? Oh, sorry.
Rope, grappling hook, 5-foot pole. All things we need.
All day.
Jeff, can you speak?
Can I speak to what, or just I missed that last part?
I'm sorry. Green light is always on, and I was afraid for a second there that audio bug had popped up again.
Oh, so you're hearing me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. we got you.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just on all the damn time, which I hate.
That's weird, but I just wanted to
It
make sure
is.
you could at least be heard.
Because now when I cuss y'all out, I'm gonna look like an asshole instead of just like keeping it all in my head. But we're good though.
Yay!
Now we'll all learn who we are. Okay, cool. Certainly, rope is also like negligible purchases like rope and firewood are like, not only is Vin literally family, y'all basically are. Like, you saved Ro's life from, like, he got mind controlled to march into the Gnarl Marshes until you die. His family is very grateful to you. You also, like, stopped bandit raids. You're the only thing really standing between the Whispering Way and Timberfall. Little things like rope and food and arrows and, like, not expensive spell components, things of that nature, you can come across pretty easy here.
Hell, I imagine me and Yotala with our Yoda. Oh my god.
Just say Yatil.
This is
Yahtzee.
Team Shaw all over again, Tommy.
The man's real bad at names.
Yatil, I imagine we could just like find vines that are strong enough to serve as rope.
Also true.
That would be fun, and
Just
also
make sure they don't make
firewood
you itchy.
shouldn't be an issue either.
Yeah. I guess Edric would have spent the morning stocking up on stuff to create scrolls, like inks and scroll, like paper.
Honestly, might be best to invest in things that would help through navigating through buggy, watery terrain.
Well, I can. In theory, I could recall Alter Self and change into something that can fly, swim, whatever. I can just turn into one of your people, like a lizard man.
That won't
That
be,
laughs.
won't be jarring at all.
No, bad.
Oh,
Just turn into a copy of him. Totally not jarring.
Just turn into just generic in person.
It's like, I'm gonna turn into generic lizard man. And then I change and look exactly like you. Like, because that's generic lizard man for me now.
No, you look exactly like one of his dead companions because that's the you've seen.
Okay. Let's not jump on the PST train just yet.
Oh, we're doing it.
PST train.
Hard.
Oh, so hard. Welcome to fucking Spoopy Kingmaker, where we fucking ruin your families, relatives, and your loved ones.
From a...
Yeah, from session 1.
Emmy knows.
Get ready. Half of your tribe's gonna be dead by the time we arrive.
Oh yeah, they're just wiped off the face of the earth. Anyway, is there anything else anybody wants to do before we depart from Timberfall? Any NPCs anybody wants to talk to? Any spells to cast? Things of that nature?
Just gonna tell like the siblings of our druid friend that Eric's brother has now taken over the outpost because they don't know about that yet.
Right.
And they probably should know about that since they would be trading with him, I assume, for stuff from the outside.
Yeah.
Like
And also, who is helping him run the outpost? That's kind of important information.
That already happened, I think. That's something that our dear druid already told him.
Yeah.
We don't
As far
work.
as I remember.
They're now the Fuchsia Fist, and they now work for us.
The Fuchsia Fist! That's what they should have
Oh,
called
should
the
remind-
Koga's gym in fucking red and blue.
I should also feel like to just state that one is a sibling, the other one's a sibling-in-law, because I don't know why, but somebody's playing Mountain Mama in the other room.
Fun times. Okay, cool. Well,
Alabama.
I am going to ask Monroe to, once again, if he sees any of the family members, keep them in town and whatnot, so that way we can talk and make some plans. Especially Lurton.
He nods, smiles. Got it.
Oh, and if you see Father, can you yell at him for me? I don't know where the hell that man has been, but he has been nowhere useful.
Yeah.
And where my mom is.
It's okay, local boy. I know what it's like to have a dad that doesn't love you.
Too real.
Yeah. Vin's just gonna kind of like turn to look at Devon as he says that and says,
I mean, if your dad loved you, he'd be here. But anyway, let's hit the road.
So as Vin is talking to Monroe, just like, you trust him at the fort?
Yeah, I trust him at the fort.
Good enough.
They're good people up there. Or at the very least, the one that's in charge is a good person. Elric's been with me through enough bloodshed now that I trust him.
He nods.
But seriously, if you see any of the family, keep around. And if you hear anything about them, I'm just getting concerned. I thought my mom was up at the trading post. She wasn't there. I thought Lurton was here in Timberfall. I don't know where the hell he's gone. Then there's fucking Carlin and just rub the forehead.
No. Be careful out there. We've lost enough. Don't need to lose any more.
I will be, brother, and I'll give him a hug.
He returns it. It's probably really like that's probably Two Towers Aragorn real hard. Just at first, like, you grab him and he doesn't understand what the hell is happening, and then just like goes around and full bear hugs. Dagger comes up, and it's probably really terrifying when a particularly large bobcat boops the snoot on your leg, but that happens.
It's not scary to Fen.
That's fair. You are the druid.
Watching this little display of affection, Yatil is kind of cocking his head back and forth a bit. Probably the most that he's emoted since the last fight with the mummy.
Yeah, and after that, Ven's just gonna like head towards the group. Probably notice Yatil. Something the matter, friend?
Oh. Just... thing.
You certain?
I am.
Very well. It's not
Seem
my
to be
place to pester you.
Sacrificing a great deal, leaving your kin behind.
Well, it's part of my duty as a druid and whatnot to take care of these lands, is it not? Not to mention the fact I was originally hired to help these people get around the Marl Marshes. At the end of the day, I'm not going to have much of a home to come back to if we don't stop the Whispering Way.
Indeed.
Alrighty, so then if you guys could, I think you're on the right map. Why, yes, you are. Just Orthult is right here. If you could draw me a route that you would like to travel. Of course, both Snooty's Lair and Vercinge's Glade, so far as you know, those are safe places to rest. Certainly a Hodag will help protect you, and Vercinge has warded that particular part of the marshes against undead, so...
I would also like to mention Yotal. Besides, you're not the only one to lose someone very close to you in this encounter. One of my own brothers was turned into a monster for these Whispering Way. Turned into a creature that would eat the flesh of the living. Nearly even tried to eat me.
Such magic only existed in stories of old among my kin.
Wow.
That it still exists is...
Oh my god!
Oof. Oof.
Oh.
Oof. It's a oof. That's a big oof from me, Robin. God. That's a low blow. Like this.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Thank you guys for giving me the coolest job on planet Earth. Anyway, okay, Gregor gets you all killed. You go where the bad things are. Don't listen to the Slayer. But for reals,
My job to slay things.
He just wants to go where the encounter is. He's that guy.
He saw a bleeding target and went for it. Like,
That has only 2 hit points. Got it. Go.
Not sure if now is the best time to be asking at this now, but
Oh, we're asking.
route
It.
would
What
which
route would Util have
my
taken?
people have taken? Yeah.
That's a good question. Probably something along the lines of Orthult is here.
Yeah.
I would probably say you make your way probably like the most direct route down this river, and then from there just like as fast as you can to here, and then down and like around and up basically.
Yeah.
I have to imagine for the Uruxi, the rivers are basically just little highways.
Yeah, that definitely pans out.
that's kind of troublesome for us. Rivers are not that much our friend.
No, they're not.
So let's
The
stick
only
with
way
the
we
land
probably
land.
get across them is our druids summoning dolphins to get across.
Or grounding.
And they don't last long enough to keep us traveling through rivers all day.
I
Build
can cast
raft.
Aboleth Lung on myself.
Build raft.
That's great for yourself. I still die. Remember what we're trying to do here. Keep me alive. Remember that part.
It's an important part.
So yeah, let's take the land route, because that way, I don't drown.
Indeed.
Build raft.
It's called Swim.
I think we can probably assume the first 2 days of travel are like we're gonna bop over to Snooty's lair and then bop over to to Vercinch's glade.
Yeah, I think that's safe
Yeah.
to assume.
Okay.
Humans
Yeah.
build great structures of stone and steel. Or apprehensive about building a raft.
Rafts will work. I wanted to build one at one point, but they found another way across.
Doesn't building a raft take very long? How
Building
long
a
would
good
it
raft
take?
would take a while. Anyway, as y'all make your way through, Snooty is still in one piece. If you get a little too close to his lair, he'll come out, sniff the air, realize it's y'all.
What is this?
I give Snooty some special jerky and whatnot. Say, hey, Snooty.
Snooty
And,
makes a
Good.
kind of noise.
What is this snooty?
Yeah, well,
We have a pet hodag.
we do.
he is not a
Snooty
pet.
whoops the snoot.
What's a hodak?
A hodag is a creature from like Wisconsin-y mythology. It's a trying to find its fucking token. There you
Oh,
are.
I see it. It's
Bam.
Spike lizard. Spike lizard.
It's like a cross between a bear and a thorny food.
Yeah, basically.
Porcupine.
There's a
Yeah, it outlevels us by far.
little lizard
Yeah,
buddy.
it's like a thorn devil, but in mystical proportions.
Yeah.
And it was thanks to my genius that we pulled the sword out of its back through my squadron of eagles and saved it. And then local boys said nice things to it, an animal, and then they made up. And now we have a pet.
That is literally what
Not a
happened.
pet.
Just
I'm
a friend.
sure your
Don't forget
comrades are
me.
very grateful to you.
Yes, Tooksy helped too. It was the 2 of them. They did the things, but it was all my idea. So anyway, yeah, he's a pet, but he's like an outdoor cat. He's good.
He is not a pet.
Anyway, you get to Vercinch's Glade. It's all the same. There's still like all of the like Desnin sigildry is still around. There's still, if you are here when the sun sets, it will reflect off the obsidian hanging to tongue-in-cheek the Whispering Way in such a way that it makes pretty constellations and stuff. Nothing seems to have really changed here, but the next hex is important.
Can you give me like a rough time how many days we spend? Because since I will be crafting while we travel, that's two hours of work that I can get in per traveling day. So I know how much of the scrolls that I intend to craft I can actually make.
Gotcha. So once you get about like here, this is where the terrain starts getting real, like, unless you are Yatil, Vin, or like don't mind getting mud in your boots. There's a lot of switchbacks, lots of like, we can't cross here. The ground's not as stable as I thought. And thank God the druid is here, or otherwise we might step in quicksand and die. And then like loop back, go and forth. So it's probably like 2 days out by the time you get to Vercinch's Glade. Or 4 hours for the purposes of scroll crafting.
Thanks.
And
That's half a day of work. So 500 gold worth of crafting.
My vote is to go south, because I don't see a river that way. So what do you guys say? Unless the river are the trees so thick that we can't see the river there?
No. From there, the river kind of goes to like the ground is just soggy for a while, kind of thing, and then like the actual like river picks up over here.
Okay, cool. So that's my vote. What do you guys say?
Well, how about we ask our wizard friend first if he knows this place, and if not, we can still decide.
I feel like the river would be a better spot to go to, just because we might be able to follow it back to Orthult.
Well, as long as it's along the river and not through the river, it's fine.
I don't know, Tommy. Does this river... Wait, actually, now that I'm looking at this, it doesn't really look like this river would actually connect back unless...
Like I said,
No, we were looking at this one up here.
I believe we were
Oh, this
thinking
one.
like do a.
What Zoidberg do?
Orthult is... Oh, are those... Like, a line directly to... Or...
That
I
would
don't know,
seem
whichever is the most optimal route, I suppose. But
Okay, so I see several votes for this hex.
Yes.
Alrighty. First things first, roll survival to ensure that you do not get super lost. Actually, I think... Well, go ahead and roll it, but I'm going to check the mod. I want to say at this point, Vin just can't get lost. Yeah, no. That's the last one I'll ask for this case. At this point, Vin, it's... Like, the Gnarl Marshes are a pretty scary place. There's some points in time where you go looking around and like, those are the tracks of a marsh giant. Better not do that. No. And then double back a little bit and then realize that, like, this is where the mud has coalesced. It actually is a mud elemental, and it's bigger than most houses. Fuck that noise, and then go around and back and forth. Nevertheless, you definitely don't get lost. You definitely are able to get there. Next, you guys, as you make your way south, you come upon, like, it's still really swampy. It's still really gross. There are no paths here. There are no roads here. But, like, you notice sticking out of the, like, one of the pools, floating, there's a body with, like, 6 or 7 arrows in its back. Then as you go looking around more and more, you realize there's, like, dozens and dozens more. Pretty obvious there is a big fight here.
What type of bodies?
does
Uh,
it
kind of
smell?
arrows.
Does it smell corpsey? already?
Definitely. It probably, that might be one of the first things that informs y'all of what's going on. I mean, marshes are kind of stinky. Smiles probably picks up the smell of blood and starts whining, and they smell corpsey. More information would be behind skill checks.
I mean, don't forget, I also do have scent as well.
Oh, got it. Fair enough. Did not realize, but all right.
Do they
Oh,
look
right,
like
that key
lizard
power.
folk?
It's actually, well, yeah. What's the benetation? But
Gotcha.
What kind of check would be required?
There are a lot you could make. Heal checks, knowledge and nature checks, more survival checks.
Roll one of those. So the corpses
Identify important organs that have been punctured.
Bruxy or humanoid.
Well done to see.
So y'all make your way
Master
over.
of Execution.
You start looking. The bodies are a couple of them. The bodies that seem a little bit better off in terms of like how much raw damage they've taken are the bodies of orcs. They're like, you see, like, it almost looks like a bit of a tree trunk that's just got some like a little less moss on it and is like greenish brown, and then you realize, no, that's some dude's arm that's as big as most humans' legs. Then you realize that it is an orc warrior he's got like 7 or 8 or 9 bites out of his femoral artery, and he bled out on the ground. The rest of the bodies are the bodies of... They're kind of indiscriminate. Occasionally it's like, oh, that's a zombie. That's a ghoul. That's like just various kinds of undead. Looks like there's some kind of a skirmish here.
Undead are created from the corpses of their creatures. What type of creatures does it look like these undead were originally?
There are some Eruxi amongst the undead. There are some that are just like this is a bear, this is a thylacine, this is a raven, this is a vulture. There are some that's like dressed in like dark robes or like armor that has been dyed black and like black hood over, and then you pull the hood back and then you see that that's a ghoul under there with like the really bright purpley pinky skin, the pointed ears, and the way too long like baraka teeth.
Okay.
Profession executioner was to determine how things died. Is that right?
Kind of a
Sees
roundabout way of
executioner.
identifying species.
Got you.
As in, like, oh, this person died from this blow, which punctured this organ, which is unique in this location to this species.
Got you. So far as that goes,
this would have killed a dwarf, but not a human.
Sure. You wouldn't have hit him in like his... I think in 3.5, there's a picture of a dwarf somewhere where literally dwarves are big boned, and that's why they have the con increase. I digress. There are amongst the dead, that's badly worded. Amongst the undead, though, the wounds are the most like varied. In some cases, it's very clear from just the enormous entry and exit wound that particular undead took a lance to the chest and then exploded from the weight of presumably an orc, the lance, the armor, the mount, so on and so forth, put onto one point, then just straight into that guy's breastbone. In some cases, it looks like the undead were like something bit them or gored them, or in some cases even just like ran into hordes of them and knocked them all the hell over. So far as the orcs go, it's pretty universal, just like most of the wounds that were fatal amongst the living dead are like bites, scratches, or general lacerations from like the leg down.
All right.
What were greenskins doing out here?
I intended to ask, what could I roll? Do I recognize this tribe? This isn't my sister's tribe, is it? Or the tribe that my sister is now part of?
As you go looking around, all of the dead orcs wear different sigildry. Sigildry is kind of a bit of... I mean, it's the same thing. It might not be as fancy as like a noble in Ristov, say, but like some of them wear like inverse symbol of Gorum or Rovagug. Some of them wear just like what appears to be the skull of a dragon or the skull of a particularly large reptile or mammal. Maybe like 1 in every 5 or 6 wear the insignia. Yeah, probably about 1 in every 5 or 6 wear the insignia of the tribe that your sister is the... I guess I'll call her co-chief, based on what I'm reading. She is technically the war chief of that clan. She bested her partner in single combat. But they end up, the two of them work, like, rather than just, now, this is mine, haha. They work together. It was certainly it's a pretty big upset out there, but by and large, it's people who questioned it aren't around anymore.
Oh, regressing from that, so it looks like there's orcs that are each wearing the heraldry of different tribes, and at least a few of them belong to the same tribe that Vin's sister belongs to.
Right.
This is not good.
But not anywhere near all of them. Matter of fact, there's a probably some Vin, and like even with all the knowledge local checks the squad could throw out, there's probably quite a few that people just haven't seen before, which would indicate that it's a very minor tribe that's either like allied with a bigger one or come together for some greater purpose.
I'd like to make another perception or survival check to examine for other clues.
Sure.
Searching for tracks, perhaps.
Okay. Yatil, you actually can get quite a bit from that. You go looking around, probably while like Tuxie is regaling exactly what happens when a lance hits a bloated corpse. It's like throwing a water balloon at a moving car, but it's full of desiccated flesh.
We're in the middle of like a murky like swamp, no?
Yeah,
Something
more or
was
less.
able to mount and charge straight through this area?
They would need to be pretty big. And that's, as you go looking around, that's one of the first things you notice as like Vin is looking at tribes and things. You probably almost stumble a little as you step in what at first appears to be just like, this is a pretty big hole in the ground. No, in fact, it's tracks. You're not sure what they are, but you follow them. Tuxie could certainly lay inside the tracks and like Snow Angel, and she wouldn't touch the top of the track. Well, no, she probably would, but just barely.
I would recommend the little one not to do that.
Indeed. From the like general looking of the tracks, it seems to be like a very small group of them came into the Gnarl Marshes, and then like that's where most of the zombies that were shot to death are. Then you can kind of like see the bodies are like moving off one way, and then you can figure out pretty easy that like the zombies were lured by probably some sort of advanced scout or like one half of the army before the other half comes through with their lances down, slamming into them.
There was an army that was here?
Looks like. There are a lot of dead zombies. Like you go find one and then you step and then you realize from the smell and the gross squishing noise that's not mud from where the boot comes down. It's like, oh, there's another zombie. And there's another part of that zombie. There are quite a few.
So does it look like there's the tracks of anybody who might have survived this or left? That's what I was trying to get at looking for.
Yes. More tracks, almost unanimously. There's some on foot, but almost entirely they're the big... where is there? You are.
Stompy looking Godzilla tracks.
I wouldn't quite say Godzilla big, but like they're bigger than probably like half again the size of a horse. Probably more like, it's hard to say. More like the size of a particularly large elephant. Yeah, okay. There we go. Those tracks. They are heading in the direction of Orthult. Suppose also with the tracks, a knowledge nature check might tell you what left those.
Oh, and following that check, gonna say he should probably double time it.
Alrighty, so the knowledge nature check is wildly successful. Ragnar's religion check, wildly unsuccessful.
Yeah, I was going to see if any of the zombies will rise from the dead after being killed. Any of these people would rise from the dead after being killed. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, Tuxie would know. It's more or less like there's not enough left for them to rise. Worst case, you might like get a finger twitches, becomes a hand monster, or like one of the heads animates something. Hard to say. But in any case, the beastie is properly identified. I will put it in the general chat. It's one of my very favorite monsters in this game. It's kind of a BDG classic. Joe really liked these. I decided I would bring them out for this game. They are, in fact, the tracks of a Gorthek. In particular, most of these seem to be pretty large, like fully grown, like big ol' alpha bull Gortheks. Picture, if you will, it's not quite a rhinoceros, not quite a bison, not quite a lion. Bang.
It's a cross between a bison, a lion, and an elephant.
Yeah. And I don't know why it wants to make it that file. I'm just going to screen clip this really quickly. Bam! It's important. They need it. It's so cool. I love the art for these boys. Bam! They are one of the most like territorial, fearsome monsters of the Glenabin Uplands. They organize in herds, not unlike bison,
Sure.
but they'll claim like miles and miles and miles and miles of territory in which they are the dominant anything, because that's how like cantankerous, aggressive in general, not happy. And like they have hides as thick as like rhinos or elephants, so it's really really hard to hurt them.
So
Good.
So what kind of things are these? Are these like magical beasts or
Nope, they are true animals.
and
true
orcs?
animals? Okay.
I'm assuming whoever was probably the one mounted combatant was probably riding on this thing.
Yeah, that would looks like unanimously that's what they were writing. It's
And
you know
track
from the
way
knowledge
before
check that like orc tribes, probably some Uruxi as well. Like if you can get them young, if you wait a little too long, they're going to be too territorial and you're just going to die in the attempt. But if you can get a Gorthek pretty young, you can like you bond with them from a really young age, and from there you have a very loyal companion that can be this literally just a living siege engine almost. The orcs, in some cases one orc will sit like yeah, it's rather than, because they have a hump like a bison does, rather than a true saddle, the orcs will ride like right behind the horns of that thing, like on the top of the head, in less of a saddle and more of, it's almost like Mad Maxy, how they like they'll guide the beast using like really like pointy, angry, spiked reins, sitting like almost tied to the horns. They're an adult male, stands about 7 feet high, weighs about like 9,000 pounds. They are exactly what you would need to charge into the schwamps. And no, we're not getting too deep on these things. You hush, I like a Gorthek. Per the knowledge check success, if you would like any mechanical information about them, you've got 3 questions.
I'll keep those on the table for now, but I think we need to start double timing it if those things were. Like to suggest to those that we follow the tracks. They look like they're leading to folk.
Right.
All right, you know these lands better than we do, so lead the way.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else they want to do here?
Nope.
Alrighty. See, Ragnar does a type. If you want to follow the tracks would put you then here.
Okay.
And when you get here, this is where the sun starts to get real low as you start moving this way. Like going on any further, you would be moving in the dark.
I don't like moving in the dark.
I suggest we make camp for
hunker
the
down
humans.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay. So it's pretty hard to find a good place to set up camp here. There's probably not a universe.
Make one.
All right. There's probably not a universe where like everybody's going to be a little damp when you wake up in the morning. There's kind of no way around that out here. Well, what's the most important is who takes first watch.
I will do that.
Okay. I hear one for
mean-
Gregor.
I only need to sleep for 2 hours a day, so I could take the entire watch.
You kids and your ring of sustenance, the key power. Okay. So I hear Gregor and Yatil. Anybody else?
I mean, if new guy can do it, I'm going to sleep.
Cooksey is probably still recounting the different ways that some of the creatures that they found have died in excruciating detail, and it's kind of disturbing how much she knows about it.
It's a little weird. Fair enough.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that execution profession.
She's the royal executioner.
She used to be an executioner prior to joining this. Her special thing is that she can literally muck things to death. So she was sort of saved for terrible criminals, and she'd make a big show of everything and
Jeez.
kill
She's
things
the
without
greatest
any
shit
implements.
talker to ever walk the earth.
She
Beautiful.
can shit talk people to death.
Aw, yeah. Okay. Well then, if it's just Gregor and Yatil, it doesn't really get quiet. It's still pretty warm. The mosquitoes are pretty bad, especially out here. Everybody goes to sleep, leaving
All
just
right,
a pair of
submitted.
you.
Smiles is
She
also
slaps the
going
bottom and yells mosquito.
You what? Ow! Ow! What the fuck?
Mosquito! The mosquito explodes from the barn shouting at it. Fair enough. Okay, so we got a doggo, we got a slayer, we got a monk.
Do you think you'll need my assistance as well? The Drew will ask.
To ask.
Sure. And
Well, I still need to sleep
every-
like a normal human.
then you can take this shift after your dwarf or after our Gregor friend, I guess.
It's really nice is when you have that many people in a party, then as a wizard you don't actually need to keep watch. It's nice.
The wizard doesn't have to worry about when he's prepping.
Sleep.
Works for me. Okay. So then, indeed, for Smiles and Gregor and Yatil, the bugs are super loud. The mood's pretty full tonight, actually. If both of you could, not Smiles on this one, if both of you could give me a perception check.
Smiles doesn't need to get one, or
Not
Smiles
Smiles,
can't
but-
get one?
Only for people this time.
Oh, it didn't roll this. My roll's not going. Oh, there
There
it
it
is.
goes. Roll 20 has
Lag.
just been, what with the we're all home thing, Roll 20 has some big server lag. Okay, so both of you notice this. It's fortunate Yatil does. As you sit, you watch, you listen to the swamp, you notice, like, out of the corner of your eye, there is a particularly, like, vibrant in color, like, very bright emerald and sapphire feathered, like, Yatil would know. Basically, it is an Archaeopteryx. It sits, perches, watches the two of you. Then, like, right after that, there's a second one that just kind of perches next to it. You notice something fly over the moon. Yatil knows. Actually, probably, I could roll bad. Watch me fumble. Okay, I rolled a 2. Fair enough. So, Gregor, you realize that that's not an Archaeopteryx. That's not an animal. That's some kind of magic something. As the Archaeopteryx looks towards Yatil, cocks its head, and makes it kind of sounds like a bird call twice, and then a bit of a, like, growly noise, which Yatil would very easily be able to recognize, as this is another one of your people from Orthult. This is kind of the universal, one of our people has been captured, and we're looking for them. We've found them, but we don't know what's going on. But we'd like to surreptitiously talk to you. And this is like that if you get captured and you are in the company of people we don't recognize, we will contact you. If you're safe, say something. If you're not, say nothing. And we're going to storm the place. You assume there's probably 2 or 3 dozen Uruxi in the woods all around you.
I repeat in a similar holler growl that these folk are allies, and I'm not being held hostage by them. I'm with them.
I say you can understand them. You can communicate with the bird things. What are they?
Messengers.
And the bird kind of like steps forward off the tree, and as it like flops forward and then like kind of like not barrel rolls, like kind of like tucks and rolls forward. It unpolymorphs, standing then landing like basically right in front of Gregor, standing at its full height of like 7.5 feet tall. Just this enormous, scales about the color of Yatil Iruxi. He snaps his fingers as he does so. This like enormous bear steps out of the woods behind him and roars. It wakes everyone up when the bear roars. And everyone wakes up to see like dozens of Iruxi have surrounded the camp and just move forward. They all have weapons, but they're not like ready to go.
I look the one right before me in the eyes and say, "Hello there."
Blinks, looks over at Yatil and in Draconic, just,
Right.
You are sure you are safe?
Tuxie sort of yawns, goes, "Oh, of course we're safe."
I look
In
around.
Draconic.
I look around at all of the warriors that have gathered around, and then I look back at the group behind me. Is like, between you and the strangers, I do feel a little weary, brother. I recognize this Iruxi.
Yes. He is. I don't have a name for him, but he's probably like 2 or 3 ranks above what you are.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Probably called Bob.
I'll call you Bob.
A very Iruxi name, Bob.
A Bobsy.
Where are the others?
In Draconic, Tuxie complains about the awkwardness.
All right, go ahead.
Again, just like
Oh
looks,
no, Tuxie just goes, "Oh my gosh, this is awkward." In Draconic.
and a couple of the Iruxi kind of just cock their heads your direction, look back towards presumably who's in charge, and then like just go back to watching the outsiders who are waking up as the leader just continues asking where the rest of Yatil's squad mates are.
I pull out a strand necklace of bangs that I had pulled from my comrades, and pointing to each one of them, I list off their names: Axe, Akko, Ra. I failed them. They are dead.
Big guy just
You
kind
have that tooth necklace or whatever. You collected their teeth, right?
Big guy just kind of closes his eyes, nods. And you return home, I presume.
These outsiders and their kin wage war against the dead. Apparently, there is a much greater threat in the lands beyond. It might bring danger to our own people.
Does he speak
As
common?
by the council. Yeah, I'm saying this in Draconic.
No, does he speak? Because I wanted to like interrupt you and do something silly in Devony. So I was going to see if he speaks common. If not, then it'll be even funnier because Devon will say a bunch of shit and then he won't know what the fuck he just said.
He probably speaks a little bit of common. It's not his first language.
Yeah.
So Devin interrupts, butts in. He's like, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Scales McGee. I am Devin, the disciples. We represent the Whispering Eye, the Wandering Way, the good guys. There are zombies coming to kill us all, and if we don't bound together in a pact of unity and friendship of united power, we're all going to die. Do you want to die? I don't want to die. Let's not die together." And he's making really like big, obnoxious hand symbols as if that would help him, like, you know, make his point.
So as you step forward and start talking really loud, there's a probably just Gregor and Yatil see it. Just like in the tree line, there are Eruxi with like mud to camouflage their like scale patterns and things of that nature. Just like they stand up a little taller and draw bows back.
Elric
Looks
Devin-
over the steps in front of him.
Devin's
It's
down.
draconic. I'm so sorry. Please ignore my pet. He's
He is the chosen one, is what he is.
You don't
We're
know what.
going to
you can't
die.
understand what I'm saying. I'm speaking draconic French.
Boom.
Damn it! I'm sorry.
Yeah, Elric adds in Draconic, ignore the peacock. He's seeking attention.
Okay, then Devin will assume that you're like talking about like how great he is. So as you're like, he's my pet, he's like, yeah, that's me. I'm the one. Yeah. So
Devin's just got real big bottom energy, and we're just now figuring that out. that actually probably does. Once they realize you don't know what they're saying, there's like the laugh kind of sounds more like the rasp of dry leaves on the wind, but it just kind of echoes throughout the swamp.
Cooksy will play it up. Oh, bam.
God damn it. Okay, fair enough. It is a everyone who now is aware sees that the bows like are not drawn anymore. The string is relaxed, the arrow goes back. Even that big bear just kind of relaxes as well. Moves forward, sniffs Yatil, probably. I don't know why every animal in all of my games' first reaction will be to boop, but boop it does. This enormous, bigger than you bear just
Awkwardly try to guess boop / pet the bear back.
and the bear kind of like you go to pet, the bear rolls over in such a way as you can get at its tum-tum.
This is why druids are awesome.
You intend to bring this many outsiders with you, I presume.
It was as the council had ordained. We must investigate and potentially bring back allies.
Nods.
This is what I have done.
Nods. Well,
If the council disapprove, we will go. But council must decide first. No?
nods again. The particularly big one steps back. At this point, like, everybody is awake.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to quickly interject with the horde of Eruxi around you.
No, just keeping Devin at bay.
Can someone please keep me up to date? What's going on? I can't understand anything.
Oh, sure. I will make it easy and use message on the ones who can't understand Draconic, and then whisper them what's going on so we don't interrupt the talking.
Alrighty, so this is not a situation where I need my thoughts and prayers. Got it.
So, this druid seems very weary, which is understandable.
I guess at this point I stand up and call Smiles to my side.
He becomes a Borkin over. Maybe a little uncomfortable at the much, much bigger mammal that had come growling out of the woods.
Kidding.
Yeah, don't blame him.
I point to Vin. This one, problems with this one. The other one is aberration. The rest are trustworthy.
And it appears they will ask us to make war.
It's a come to that, yes, but hear what they have to say. I think that this might not be a war that can be avoided.
Just kind of a general nod amongst like the Uruxi at large.
Have there been any incursions in the lands of Orth?
Folks,
Can I interject real quick?
sure.
In character. I is he one of the one that will make the decision if your folk will help us or will
The
ally with
Council of
the
16?
order? I ask Yahtzee.
Basically, is he
Uh,
part of the council?
Am I addressing one of the chieftains?
No, he's the best way to put it. Well, he has a name. His name is Rozu. He is like the hierarchy in Orthult is weird. If Yetil is call him a lieutenant, this would be more like Sergeant Major.
Okay.
Not Bob, sorry.
Aw.
Also, is Ross driving?
No.
That definitely sounds like someone is driving.
I think it's a. Do you have a fan blowing on oscillate?
Yeah, something like that.
Got him. Busted.
That's very specific.
I have weirdly specific ears.
The man is well trained. Yeah, no, Rozu is just, he's a little older than you, a little more in tune with like the natural world than you, and so is afforded like a little more freedom and things, and like through his own partially wisdom, partially like in service to Orth, has been given a command.
That command is
All around you. Like he leads troops.
okay. Oh, he has been given command.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'll ask Rozu if he will allow these outsiders passage into Orth to plead their case.
He nods.
It's still nighttime right now.
Yeah, you guys had probably been like, the wellness check essentially happened as soon as like everyone had definitively laid down to go to sleep. Who was going to go to sleep?
I was.
So like, it's pretty early
Same.
on.
Seems like we're not getting any sleep tonight. I suggest we go. Oh, perhaps.
Well, that would probably make would impress him and would improve our standing. So it doesn't sound so bad.
Okay. Rozu turns and regards the entire squad in common. Our outpost is not far from here. Resting there would be safer than resting in the mud. If this
I
is
like
good
the
for...
idea of that. I hate resting in the mud. I'm following you, and he starts to strut.
It ruffles his feathers.
Yeah, just kind of does this a little bit.
He doesn't.
My name is Ragnar. Thank you for your hospitality.
They turn, look at you. There's kind of a unanimous, like, I won't say necessarily that the assembled Uruxi bow, but more like kind of like bro nod your direction.
I bro nod back.
A priest of the Forge God.
You recognize Torag.
Nods. It is not my way, but he turns and kind of like motions towards one of his fellows. Several of the Uruxi are armed with like similar gear to what Yatil is carrying, like spears, bows, things like that. But a couple of them are a little more along the lines of like, probably the biggest standout is the Uruxi who comes like walking forward. His scales have been dyed like a brilliant crimson in an X pattern, and he's carrying a, like you would see it in like Restov, like a big ol' steel greatsword. Occasionally the smiths and he kind of like waves vaguely to the south, from far from here. They will come, they will trade with us. It has been very useful. And he turns and in Draconic just, hasn't it, my friend? The big guy with the greatsword just smiles real big, nods, taps his greatsword to his chest.
Womp
The def-
holds many bounties, but metal is not one of them.
Nods.
Trade with dwarf fix this problem.
I will also like to grant you all, whether you help us in this endeavor or not, I would like to give you all the gifts of firearms.
There's kind of a general, like, they look around at each other, look back at you. Rozu is just, and what is this?
May I show you I'm going to not have a bullet in it. It's going to be a dried sod, is what this is called in real life. Where it's just the gunpowder. It doesn't fire the projectile, but it'll make the loud bang.
Okay. And Hero is hoping
Rozu,
you'd roll and
You
you'd roll
should
a
cover
1.
ears.
And he says the same thing in Draconic, and everybody covers the ear flaps.
I aim not pointed at them. I aim at, where there's at a tree and stuff and just fire.
Okay. Some birds are clearly startled. The bear probably, like, gets all up on its haunches. Probably, like, 1 in every 4 or 5 of the Uruxi has something along the lines of, like, a small dinosaur or a bird or a cat or, like, some kind of, like, fast hit-and-run tactic style animal companion that all kind of, like, squawk and squabble. Rozu turns towards you.
It uses gunpowder to fire one of these as I hold up the little ball.
He nods.
Would you all like to have these?
It could be useful. And what would you ask in return?
Well, how about this? I'll make 2 for free. And then the rest we can work out trade deals just for you all can figure out how they work and see if you all would want more. I'll make a pistol and a rifle for you.
Just so that they don't mix well with alcohol.
There's kind of a general, like, the Uruxi look back and forth at each other.
Think of them as a gift of friendship between me and you all, the first 2.
They nod. And we will accept. But, and they look up, the night is waning. We should find a place to rest. And they kind of, like, as they all come out the forest, again, there's probably like 36 of them all told, and they form just like a diamond formation around the party. That first might be like, the sensation is somewhere in between, wow, if something were to fight us, we're very safe right now, and wow, if we fuck up, we're very dead. Because, like, very occasionally, like, you guys, as you're walking, and eventually you do clear the Nara marshes, like, somebody strays a little too close to an Uruxi, another one of those, like, painted crimson scales carrying a big forged weapon, and they turn and kind of, like, hiss a little, as if you had given them a spoop. Eventually, as you clear the Nara marshes, like, basically right here in this river, the outpost in question it's almost a little more like a giant beaver dam kind of built. It's not wood, but like a bit of a like mud and sod almost affair in the water, like a dome basically in the middle of the river. Yatil certainly knows that the way you get in those is you go under the water and then swim up into the center part. As you get there, several of the Uruxi begin to do so.
Is there? Well, I can take off my armor and go swimming. Is there a safe place I can leave it here? I don't know how long I can hold my breath. Hopefully it's not a long swim.
No, it would be just the proverbial crossing of a threshold, like 2 squares down, 1 square over, 2 squares up kind of thing.
Then I have an eye.
Here we go.
If it's okay with you, my friend, we could tie You could hang onto a rope, and those of us who are not good at swimming, you can help pull us through under the water.
That's a fantastic idea. Yes, pull us through. You'll be like a little pulley ship. What do you call those damn things? A sled with the little doggy things. It'll be like that, but underwater. That's adorable. Let's do that.
The tugboat.
No, I'm thinking of the
Dog
Dog
sled.
sled.
dog sleds. Yeah, in the Yukon.
A ball
But it's
tail.
underwater.
I grab a vine from a set of rope, and I take one end of it with me down into the water and up into the tunneled area.
Okay.
That should leave the other end of the rope leading into the hut for you guys to follow and lead into.
Sounds good. Meanwhile, Tuxie has just kind of dove into the water, swum forward, poked up. The swim check is successful. The inside here is like, you're not exactly sure what that moss is and why it's burning. Then you realize as the smoke is going up that there are very teeny tiny little holes at the top in such a way that the smoke will rise up and out, so you don't just suffocate and die horribly. As you go looking around, the area, which all told is probably like a couple of, it's really big, like just a big,
Tuxie's probably waiting for Devon on the side, like sticking her head underwater, watching to see if he's on his way.
like a big X thousand square feet where like several very clearly of orcish make, as like the rest of the squad swims up or is pulled up, weapons are like laid against the wall, suits of armor as well.
Oh. Came across an orc as a battalion.
That word isn't inaccurate.
I guess I'll ask if they know anything about. Ozu knows anything about that, and he has a bunch of orc weapons with him.
I do. They came through a few days ago. Wanted to make their case before the council as well. Something about a weapon sacred to their god. Out, and waves generally in the direction of the stolen land, or like in the direction of from whence y'all come. As is
Dwarven
protocol,
Tower, question mark.
they were. What?
At that dwarven tower? Question mark.
that
Because
dwarven
there was
tower?
also a
Question
weapon in there.
As protocol dictates, before they were brought to Orthult, they were disarmed. Their war beasts are easy enough to. Well, when a baby cries, what do? You scritch the baby behind the ear, and they're fine. Brozer just smiles real big. Some of the, like, as the other Uruxi come in, and he begins to recount the taming of the Gorthek. Essentially, like, they look at him like he's insane for walking that close to something that enormous.
So,
To
are
Am I-
you the ones that killed the orcs?
I'm sorry?
Was there a disagreement? Because those orcs are dead now.
I don't think they killed the orcs.
No, there were, and for clarity's sake, there were like a couple of dead orcs.
Right.
Imagine, if you will, like when the riders of Rohan caught the Urukai. Like, there were 2 or 3 dead bodies, but most of them seem to have made it out.
I'll ask them, do you happen... so you are the one responsible for the beasts around here?
I help. Let's just say I've been at it a little longer than you, Warmblood. As Smiles makes his way up and does that big doggo shake to get all the water out.
Orc's beast of burden. Where is it now?
They are in
If
Orthult.
Devon's not back yet, Tuxie's getting in the water again.
Oh, I assumed. Didn't they drag me through? I thought I was out already.
Oh.
Yeah, I assume at this point the whole
Oh.
squad has made
Yeah.
their way
Oh,
into
yeah. Okay.
Big Dome.
Probably a bit wetter than they were before.
Yeah. Especially those of you who are dragged. There's probably a couple of occasions where you you have to like get your way through the hole yourself, and sometimes you just straight up bump the thing.
So at least one person here has prestidigitation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Y'all be fine then.
Yeah, everybody fine.
Yeah. We can drive.
I
ourselves.
do... I do ask him, do you happen to know the chieftain that they claim to be under?
He kind of starts drumming his hand against the wall like, there seem to be many, not one voice. From what I gathered, their clans, tribes, they seem to be without leader now. They realize they need to be here, and so they have come here. Who speaks for them will be determined by them when they are brought before the council.
Another matter. You say you've been at this for quite some time. You're managing of the animals. Does that mean that, from this point I'll switch to Druidic? You understand what I am saying now?
He smiles, nods.
Well then, I was curious, but I did not want to really assume.
Smiles, nods again.
Oh, you like this one.
A little young, but he'll learn.
I still have many more years on me. And if my damn teacher would come back from wherever the hell she went...
She's probably dead.
Do you need a teacher? He kind of like eyes you up and down.
Then actually kind of blushes at the mention. Is like, I just want her back.
The Rozu kind of like cocks his head the other way. Is she your mate?
Close enough.
Cooksy just busts a gut laughing as soon as he says this.
He wants her to be.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know where the orcs are? I'd be interested in speaking to some of them.
Smoothly changing the topic, I see.
As you do. Young boy in love.
It's okay. They're a Rooksy. They could say whatever they want, and they won't be embarrassed for it or not.
Yeah, be fine. Rozu just kind of like motions vaguely in what you presume is the direction of Orthult. They are waiting their audience with the council. They have been in Orthult for a couple days. I assume they will come back to my outpost to retrieve their weapons.
Do we need to give you our weapons?
Yes, obviously. And he turns Yatil's direction. Not all of you will be forced to disarm before you enter our sacred home. As for the rest of you, unfortunately, it's rare enough to let outsiders in there, let alone so many of you so armed.
I understand. At least you're not wanting us to literally disarm like the Gatlings did when we met them.
He kind of just cocks his head.
That was interesting.
No.
Gatling.
Irish fairy crazy creatures.
They are creatures from the Feywild up north that has made home in a great tree.
They tried to steal your arms, like...
It was a trick. They were trying to trick us. They thought it would be funny, and they used their magic for they could literally disarm and told us we had to do the same. But we was able to see through it.
Rozu kind of just rolls his eyes. Sounds about right for the Fae. I imagine they wanted to replace them with their own arms or some... He sighs real hard, sits down.
Well, do we hand the weapons to you as I'm handing him my out and I have my bandolier taken off?
He nods. And
alright, I hand him the bandolier and all that.
And he basically, one by one, goes to all of you. He is...
Oh, Tuxie has a thing she wants to do as she's disarming.
Okay, sure.
he is going to try and quietly ask him if he would perform a special ceremony for her and Yatil.
Just kind of
Huh?
does the Aruxi equivalent of raises eyebrows.
The one you mean?
Oh, she's trying to do it out of earshot of Yatil. Be quiet about it.
Okay.
So then it is opposed by perceptions from the party.
I'll let this one go.
Okay.
Is
Elric,
this
you're
being
aware.
doubled by anybody else?
It is. I thought he did it on purpose to make himself sound like a funny lizard man.
He might be coming through on roll 20.
Okay.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you. You're all super
Yep.
echoey.
Oh wait, I must be unmuted. Okay, now I'm
Better.
unmuted on that end.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm disappointed.
Oof. Got him.
I'll just mute myself.
What exactly did you have in mind, little one?
Well, I don't exactly. No, you see, I was raised mostly around humans, so I thought something more in a lizard folk tradition would be appropriate.
And he, like, you say lizard folk, and he stops you short with a hand
Ah.
on your shoulder. I'm not going to call your friends apes, and I won't call you, looks you up and down, small rodent lizard. My people are called Iruxi.
My apologies. In Aruxi tradition, I deeply apologize. I have met none other than Yatil here. I did not know any better.
He nods. What exactly did you have in mind?
Well, I was hoping that you could inform me. I am unsure.
To what effect do you want this? He kind of just like scratches his head. I'm confused.
She wants you to marry him. She's in love with him. I heard him making lizard noises last night.
There's probably
Yeah, man, it was gross. It was like fucking like the scales and mayonnaise. It was horrible.
Rosu's eye starts twitching about the same way mine is.
Okay, now I'm gonna start making perception checks to hear this.
I mean, if Devin has interjected,
Oh yeah, I'll just throw myself in here. Fuck it.
Wait, what?
because
I
Rosu
don't think-
Rosu has now been loud enough in the like call him a lizard folk, he does a thing. You would all see it.
Yeah. Also, I don't think Devin actually has the ability to speak quietly. I don't think he knows what whispering is.
It's actually his oracle curse. He has to just shout forever.
Now it makes sense. Okay, so I hear words of Atil married to the little one. I'm like, what? Oh,
Why did that
What?
happen?
And Rosu just kind of turns towards Yatil. Does Yatil consent to this? You are so young.
I am very confused.
Tuxie starts
What is it that you want?
laughing a
little one?
little bit. I'm sorry. I have to get everyone at least once.
What's wrong?
Everyone's what?
Oh no. You remember I played this joke with Elric and his brother earlier, and I did it with Vin before and his family. It's a thing.
You'll get used to it, new guy. Welcome to the club. And he slaps you on the shoulder.
Oh,
That probably hurts your head.
Probably
more
hurts
than
Devin
you-
more than it hurts you. He doesn't
I will
realize
say
how.
ow. Say ow for him and sympathetic.
Ow. He's a fucking Mr. Handy from Fallout. Ouch.
It's like slapping a steel bar.
Yeah. And in any case, after this process happens, sometimes it's Rozu, sometimes it's everyone else, but everyone is disarmed. Rozu brings over to everyone who's not Gregor and Yatil, basically. It's about the size of a silver dollar, a little like mud-colored wafer. You are each offered one of these. It is harmless, other than the fact that, well, I won't explain the science to you, but
somebody detect shenanigans. The last person who tried to feed us fucking tried to have us eaten by zombies. Somebody fix this right now.
I detect magic. Who got it?
No,
I do, but I'm
Bring one.
currently disarmed, and my weapon is my arcane focus, so I would actually need to make a roll to be able to cast spells.
I would just like to say, Davon, if my kin wanted you dead, would not have used poisoned, and would have been
That-
already.
No, human, waste the
That's
meat.
a very convincing argument,
yeah,
actually.
okay, all right.
I just eat them if that's what they're wanting us to do.
Okay. he throws it back and eats it. It doesn't taste, it kind of looks like it's mud, but it doesn't taste horrible. It's very, very earthy in taste. And then you swallow it down and then you feel like 5 pounds heavier almost immediately.
Like, I gotta take a dookie heavy, or like, what kind of heavy?
Like a spellcraft check from Chewy Heavy.
Okay.
Do I recognize what they're giving them?
You do. I just want to see if he gets it first.
This is something similar. to,
And
like,
he
a
does.
good berry.
Basically, Ragnar, you just ate an anti-magic field. It will, until your body processes it, it will stop you and all of the casters from doing spell stuff, because, like, taking away Vin's staff isn't really gonna disarm Vin. Same's true for, like, Elric. Take the wizard's staff! Right, you know what I mean?
Somewhat. For me, it's actually different because my staff is my arcane bond, and a wizard without his arcane bond needs to make rolls to actually be able to cast spells.
No, I learned something
Successfully.
today.
Yeah, that's why people normally don't take arcane bonds, because they can handicap you.
Makes sense.
Well,
You are clever, I say to him after I'm done eating that.
Let's just say we learned our lesson the hard way a couple times.
It's okay, guys. It won't poison you.
You will get your inborn abilities back in, well, however long it takes you to process it. And yeah, Yatil, you know, it's just like, you bring outsiders into Orthult, it's not super safe to do so. It's very rare that it happens. They're always disarmed, so they can't go in and make a mess of things. And in the case of casters, they're cut off from any inborn ability to magic, or like their own, like, you get the science of the spell book, but then converting that science to arcane requires a bit of like connection to other things, and so like that severs the connection basically.
How does this affect supernatural abilities?
All of the above. Supernatural spell like and spells. You literally have an anti-magic field.
Regular old
Gotcha.
motherfuckers right now.
Yeah, it's affected
Got it.
most things. I think there's only one type of ability that's not affected.
Punch.
Like, supernatural and spell-like are both affected, but there's like a third one, which I just forgot.
Yeah. It's a plot
Psychics.
cookie. I get it. Let's roll with it.
It's a plot
Alright.
cookie. Kind of, sort of. Okay. So everybody takes the stuff. Rozu kind of just like gets in the middle of all of you and just, I'm sure some of you have questions before we approach the city. I will take you there first thing in the morning.
Do you want a fish? You look like you eat fish. Do you want a fish?
Actually, I'm a vegetarian, if you must know, but I'll forgive your ignorance this time. If you have any real questions, all of you.
Is there any do's or don'ts while coming into this city?
Where to begin?
Yeah, probably give us like a cultural rundown of what are the like social taboos, especially because someone like Devon over here You just love screwing up in that department.
Spell it out very carefully for him, very slowly. It takes him a while.
Like a child.
Yell like I'm
A very
F.
attractive child, but not like in a weird way, but like, damn, that's a cute baby. Like in a Gerber baby sort of way.
All right, that's a good save, Jeff. That's a very good save you did there. Rosie turns towards the Yatil, just, well, if you'd rather explain it, I'll let you.
You know what? I'll let him do it.
The long and short
What
of it.
exactly do you guys want to know?
What do we not need to do to like not get ourselves killed? Or it's like, oh, I waved my right hand at somebody, and waving your right hand in fucking lizard people means I want to like fist your mom, and now they're all pissed off at us. They want to kill us. So that type of shit.
Reasonable. It's good things to ask.
Common things that outsiders do that might be considered offensive to.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, not to use the L word. It's good.
Got it.
They
start.
nod. We have existed longer than kind of like takes the room in at large. Perhaps not the dwarf, but most of you, we are Uruxi. Just because we are not as prevalent as you doesn't mean we don't have a rich history. We will not be reduced to mere animals. Do not offer us fish. Do not. He kind of like pinches the bridge of his. Well, he doesn't really have the bridge of it. Pinches his snoot, shakes his head. Other than that, I think all of you know how to behave in polite society. Orthult is a
Well-
very sacred place. It is important to us. And though certainly we need knowledge of the outside world, that doesn't mean you are not an honored guest there. Act appropriately. Don't start fights. Do I really need to spell the rest
We
of
all
this
look
out?
over at Penny.
Penny is actively like everything he's saying. She's like staring intently at Devon, like you're getting
You
this,
started
right?
the fight, not me.
Smiles
that-
just looks at both of you.
Neil is just cocking his proverbial eyebrow, like, wait, the little one started a fight?
Yeah, she's a badass. That's why I keep
Well-
her around.
To be honest, I started it for much the same reason when someone may have referred to me in a way that I accidentally referred to your friend here.
This is fair. Okay.
I definitely should have known better.
We understand, little one. You may be in Orthult a couple of days. The council is... Well, we're busy, shall we say.
What's more busy than an undead apocalypse about to eat us all?
The appearance of a new star in the sky.
I mean, I
We
guess.
do have
Oh
information
yeah, we were
on
there when that
that.
happened.
Appearance of a new what in the sky?
A new
Star.
star in the sky. This is probably something Yatil has... Might have been the impetus to, like, Yatil needs to go out and find things. Y'all being the most famed astronomers. Like, the culture that came up with astronomy, astrology, figuring out how to use the stars for more than bright lights in the sky in Galarian's history. Then suddenly there's a new one for no reason. And it's, like, very, very bright.
I know I cannot go to the council to tell the council, but you can tell them for me what I know of the star. Is that okay?
Nods.
It is a asteroid. A dragon of Pharasma's court informed us. It is a giant rock up there that is.
I know what an asteroid
Moving.
is.
Did
I not
know
just
what an
say we were
asteroid
really
was.
cool astronomers and you're trying to explain what an asteroid is? Don't step to me, nerd! He turns into a bear and he eats you.
We're a fucking
No.
dwarf explain to the goddamn people who invented astrology.
Yeah, but the dragon of Pharasma's court explained to us what it was, and it had his interest. He said it was not the best omen. It was a bad omen, but he needed further research on it.
A dragon in
And,
Pharasma's court. Yatil, you've made very interesting friends. You don't look powerful enough to be friends with friends who sit on the courts of deities.
I am not.
Friends is a
It
strong
was our
term,
friend
my friend.
Trazen the Infinite.
Trazen the Infinite, and there's kind of a general amongst the assembled Iruxi just, Trazen the Infinite, oh shit.
Trazen the Infinite was with us as we first began our travels in these lands. And then when we were with the Fae, the dragon came to talk to him and said they have unfinished business to discuss. And he grabbed him and took him back to somewhere.
You'll forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Trazen the Infinite was a very famous Iruxi who lived a very long time ago. I don't think he traveled with you.
Cast
yes,
cast a zone of truth or detect lies. I am not lying.
He just kind of looks around at everyone who they'll kind of just shake their head no. Plead this before the council if you must. I would encourage you not lie to them. Turns towards basically everybody else. Are there any further questions, concerns, or should I leave you to sleep for the night?
Yeah, I need some sleep. I'm tired. So tired.
Yes.
I want to hit the hay.
I don't normally my beauty sleep doesn't get interrupted.
You wouldn't get it. It's a noble thing.
Oof. And I thought I was a diva.
I whisper in Draconic, it is actually a lunatic thing.
I'm weak. Okay,
He
fair
talks
enough.
the birds.
The night passes, and y'all wake up in the
city.
In the city. It strikes me that I need to run to the potty real quick. So I say this all the time, all over Spoopy Kingmaker, but I gotta run to the potty. I'll be right back. I gotta pause this.
Do you prefer I just keep myself on the noise suppression?
Yeah, probably. It's just it's loud. It's super loud.
So BRB for like 5
I've
seconds.
been looking into
You
game.
go, run. 1d4 rounds have passed. The GM has watered and dewatered. The Marnin passes. All of you awaken and are led. It's not super far. The Iruxi do have like 4, I guess probably in their case for like the wounded or the bears, like pretty decent rafts for which to like ride y'all across, and you do reach Orthult pretty fast. If everybody could giveth me a perception check.
I'm on a boat.
You're on a
Yeah, I
boat,
should have
eh?
asked this before, but do I have the morning to perform my...
Yeah, you do. Actually,
Rituals? Okay.
honestly, there's probably 5 or
After
6
all.
of the tribes folks who will spar with you.
I'm never going to get a good perform check on that.
I believe in you.
I don't know. Somebody has to.
Alrighty, so
Ragnar likes being on a boat a lot.
Oh.
who go first?
Oh, Druid sees everything.
Yes, it's less a boat, more of a bundle of sticks and branches wrangled together.
He likes any watercraft vehicle because to him they are a simple but very important piece of technology that allowed transport. He's fascinated with watercrafts.
Yeah, it's super
I
dope.
think that probably makes you unusual bit under the dwarves. From what I hear, most dwarves don't like not having solid earth beneath their feet.
Indeed.
I do like Earth, but you got to admire the genius it took to make the first boat.
And y'all
I
turn the
mean,
corner as like the
they-
boats
they-
go a turning, and you get brought to like basically what feels like the heart of this particular section of marsh. It's kind of out of nowhere, clusters of like huts made out of like sticks to form a frame, and then mud and leaves to like seal it. Basically, they almost look like. At first, you might see like, oh, that's a shambling mound. Just like mounds of living swamp vegetation. Then upon further inspection, it's just that like the swamp has grown over top of them. On top of that, there are these like the village itself is, or I shouldn't say village. Well, technically village, but it's a pretty big one. Built on like several islands in the marsh. On top of that, there are these. I almost want to say like lily pads at the public pool. Y'all know what I mean. Just like big floating islands, big enough to support a lot of folks, made of just like really dense swamp vegetation. You guys are like Rozu and company are here, and you pass the outer perimeter, and there's a little bit of not a lot of a back and forth, but enough of a like a quick wellness check from them to make sure that y'all are good, and then you are let in. Rozu turns
Man,
to all of you and just, I will return to my outpost. Return when you are done, and we will be happy to give you back your gear. Until then, and he kind of like nods generally in the direction of all of you, does a whatever the traditional Uruxi sign of like whatever an Uruxi salute is, he does that to Yatil.
Salute him back and thank him for not killing us on sight. Killing them on sight. I hope he wouldn't have killed me.
Nah, you'd have been fine. They just
Oh, Tommy, I forgot to ask, with the anti-magic stuff, would Roboito Birdman have to eat that, and would he disappear if he ate it?
probably.
Okay.
Berto, who now?
He's
Roboito Birdman.
Roboito
his familiar
Eidolon?
thingy? Familiar Eidolon thingy?
Yeah.
He's an eagle that has a really cool like cloak on.
He's the dopest, beautifulest boy.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah, Tio? Is there a library?
Deadpan expression at her, like, at this library.
I mean, if you're smart enough to damn do stargazing, I figured you had a book about it.
No, most our knowledge is translated back through like oral history.
Ah, I gotcha.
Speaking.
Ah.
Yeah, I assume that paper isn't
And-
that great in a swampy area.
That makes sense.
I mean, most books with this humidity would probably start molding like really quickly. But it's fascinating. Your people, they build dams kind of like beavers, like islands.
Probably not as big as impressive as your stone cities, but can't imagine that be able to achieve building in land like this.
I'd also like
Yeah,
to
stone
insert.
cities don't float in water very well.
I also like to insert right quick. Like, no, I did not turn on ambient sound effects. The birds are just waking up in Germany.
Wizard, you shall help me make floating stone cities at some point.
So
Can be done in theory. I mean, and Eric starts like going into engineering stuff about buoyancy and stuff like that. Becomes really boring real fast for people who are not interested.
if you mentioned the library, the closest thing that would probably have would be whatever is would probably be within the chambers of Withered One. But I don't see you guys being allowed there.
Aw.
At least not yet. If you still want to learn a bit more, you can ask me what you want to know, and I'm sure some of the sages, others here, would be going to share some information for you. You are outsider, but you would probably get along better than the others.
Well, I'm very curious about the history that you've passed down.
Most I could share is what was shared with me. Uruxi were, before there were man, before there were elf or dwarf, even before dragons, were the Uruxi. And, oh, to be honest, we have lived much as like what you see how we live now for as long as we've walked the earth. That's all I have for right now, though. The history lessons could probably wait for now. Totally not just buying time because I can't think of anything.
Oh, of course not. Why would
That
you do
was
that?
just
Nonsense.
history of the world in 2 minutes.
Yeah. As that conversation,
Sounds like a good YouTube video.
yeah. As that conversation
come up
is
with
going
something.
on, y'all kind of make your way through it. It's been at least strongly implied by Rosu and company that you'll be in Orthult for a while. You notice, you probably see the horn first before like all of you out of sorts moving through Orthult turn and see on a far island what certainly Yatil would be able to, after seeing the tracks and then looking at it, determine, and like probably all of you as well if the information is shared, what appears to be a bull Gorthek. There's, as you see it, you go looking around and it looks like someone like warp wooded a makeshift stable to house these. A second one kind of like pokes its head out, sniffs. The sound is not unlike the noise a bison makes when it's pissed off, and not unlike a small lion's roar mixed together. It stamps its feet. The Iruxi around it look a little uneasy.
I mean, I'd say I blame them. I'm sorry, did you say that there was another one too?
Yeah. There's
There's two of them.
The building behind where the second one pokes its head out from is pretty big. You have to assume that's where the orc clans that have rode through are, like, where their mounts are stabled.
Okay. Do they look like they're having trouble with the Gorthex?
Not yet. They, like, it could go south really fast. They're just kind of uncomfortable. Probably about, like, 50, 60 feet off.
So, I look over to Vin. Oh, if you guys want to be heard by the council, you'll probably need people here in Orthult like you. I see an opportunity about to present itself right now. Help, that is.
Yeah, I would like if we can get this done soon. I feel really uncomfortable without access to my magic.
Yeah.
I feel it's kind
hard
of
to
it's
choose
almost
one.
like not. Yeah, it's almost as if you're not wearing clothes. You feel naked before the world. Not a good
You would
feeling.
hate the
I'm naked all the time. You do not see me complaining. Anyway,
you would hate the mana wastes then.
mana wastes.
Bunch of dwarves, got a bunch of gunpowder, got a bunch of magical items, put them together, exploded, and now there's no magic in that area at all.
It is
That
literally
magic
part of
zone.
Pathfinder's campaign setting. Between Nex and Geb, this is what happens when two powerful wizards war for millennia. There's just a dead magic zone in, like, the top part of Eastern Garund. Oopsie. Also, that's where guns are.
all-out Pathfinder edition.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
But way. Well, that's all well and good. History lesson I'll have at some point. But then you need your magics to corral animals.
It makes it easier, but it's not required.
Oh, nod over to the Gorthex. That's probably going to have trouble.
My sister's tribe ever have Gorthex?
yeah, you've probably never seen a bull fully grown because, like, they don't really like other people very much. But you've seen little baby Gorthex.
Yeah.
You would know thing I told everybody about the Gorthex when I was expositioning before, and there are still 3 questions from knowledge checks floating if you'd like to redeem them.
Sure. Now, questions about their. How about their strengths? Their strength, like that giant wooden cage that it's being held in. How confident are we in that wood cage would hold it? Like,
you are not. Like, it's literally just learned helplessness. If that thing were to get pissed off, it would not be hard. It wouldn't be hard for it to tear through stone. These things are used in battle as living battering rams.
Okay. Fair enough, I guess. As for being very big and very angry, any other special abilities that they have?
A few. They are. You don't want to stand in their way because in combat, a Gorthek when it perceives something as a threat, and in the wild, a Gorthek will perceive pretty much anything that moves as a threat. Usually, they just charge at it and then try to lower their horns and throw them up into the air, or just like gore them with their horns. Their horns are actually so big forward down that they don't have they can't bite with their lion mouths because the horns get in the way, and they don't have claws or anything. Basically, it's just run up, gore you, or run up, slam you, or just trample you into the ground.
So, you mean if they tried to bite something, they wouldn't actually be able to reach because their horns would just get in the way of it?
Yeah, it's actually probably really awkward to watch these things eat because it's a wonder they evolved. To try to get around their horns and not, hang food up.
I would say it would probably be amusing to watch them try and get through a doorway, but they would probably just make a new doorway.
To put it one way, I wouldn't expect something that's just an animal to have a strength score of 32, but, they're big boys.
Holy moly.
Big
32.
boys. And I guess farther on special abilities, their hide is, legends are told about how hard it is to pierce their hide. They have barbarian DR. They have 5 barbarian DR. In case folks don't understand what I mean when I say barbarian DR, I'll type it out.
Just flat DR.
Just flat DR.
Yeah,
The first 5
DR.
points of damage. They are basically, when you hit them, you just piss them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are really scary, quote-unquote, animals.
And one looks like it is on the verge of getting angry enough to break out of that cage.
Or just, it's smart enough-ish to, if it's a learned helplessness thing. They see walls. They don't know necessarily how to break walls when they're not, I'm mad, I'm going to break everything around me, kind of thing. If it were to change, if the wind were to pick up the wrong direction, someone get a little too close and startle it. Mostly it's just the Aruxi are a little spooked in their presence, and so it's
Kidding.
I know it's not necessarily the case to say that animals can smell fear, but right, that kind of analogy. They will perceive a weakness and go.
Okay.
Okay. Man, now I wish I had access to my stuff even more.
So I guess
Hey.
add a +4 to this. I'm just gonna walk up and, you know what? Knowing these are orcish creatures, I'll actually talk to an orc to try and calm it down. So that's a 23 to calm the beast down.
Good old wild empathy. Let me check a DC. What's my hit dice again? Okay. How do you want to do this?
I'm just going to like approach it and say in orcish, "Whoa there, friend. Calm, calm." And just kind of like repeat calm while trying to like, I imagine I've seen them pet it before, so I'll kind of like try and scratch its ears and whatnot in the right spot to calm it down.
Okay. You go walking over there. The Uruxi see this happen, and they look at you aghast. First, outsider, then followed by, he's gonna go close to the death bison, lion, rhino monster. The Gorthek sees you approach, and it gets like real hostile real quick. It stamps down its front foot and starts like pawing forward like it's gonna charge you, and looks all big and threatening. Then you start speaking to it in Orcish, and it starts to slow down a little. You go to like scritch it behind the ear. 7 foot high at the shoulder means you gotta kind of like raise your arm up, and it figures it out and just, I don't want to say it sphinxes because its limbs wouldn't allow that really, but it lowers itself down in such a way that you can scritch it. And several Iruxi stop and watch this as this just enormous 2 and change tons monster leans in and allows Vin to do a scritch.
Was a good call to do orcish. I'm glad. Go for the creature and maybe see if it's like hungry or something, or if it's just like it's just the Teminus. It's only it's only some of them in here are concerned. You know, like literally all it is these things are uneasy. I'm uneasy because they are uneasy, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's more like that. There's just like a general, the mood is bad.
Okay. I'm just gonna pet the creature a bit more. And just kind of like eventually look over to the other ones and say, or to the Rixie watching on and saying, calm and a bit good with managing animals. Are you all okay? You seem to be a bit concerned.
They kind of look at each other, they nod, and just thank you. We are very appreciative. And they make whatever the green faith equivalent is of crossing themselves in your direction.
It's been a while since I've seen that symbol.
Is that not? They kind of like cock their heads back and forth. Not appropriate for you?
No, it's been a while. My teacher's usually the one that follows the green faith. Most of my family follow one of the gods of hunting or wrestle.
Just kind of a general, like, interesting nod amongst all of them. As this conversation is going on, he kind of appears out of nowhere behind the rest of the party. All of like 7 foot and change tall. His arms bigger than most humans' legs. His legs even bigger. Just like enormous, built like a brick shit. This is a fantasy setting. What am I saying? Built like an adamantine shithouse. I'm gonna use that more. That's really good. Just this enormous orc. You notice one of his tusks, the right one specifically, has like almost as if it had been torn. There's some of it just like not there anymore. He just kind of steps in next to the 6 of you as if he belongs there. He raises his hand to regard Vin, mostly because he needs to shield his eyes from the sun. Raises his...
just gonna cry out and run and hug him.
Before he gets any words out, you just kind of like run into this wall of adamantine who is mostly just caught completely unawares. Finn, what are you doing here? You are the last person I thought I would see, and he waves vaguely in the direction of Orthult.
Yeah, that's a bit of a story. Although I must be honest, I could say the same to you.
Well, the tribes are looking for allies. It hasn't been pretty. Before you ask, that's where your sister is. She's managing what remains of the torn tusks.
Okay.
It's not pretty.
We had seen some of it coming on the way. I must be honest, the trouble's even gone so far as to Timberfall. Me and my companions here. Have you been fighting undead as well?
Only recently. Most of the fighting has been amongst ourselves. Everyone has a different master plan on how it is we are going to march towards... They don't even know where they are going, yet they're so gung-ho to find some weapon sacred to our Lord in Iron.
At the Dwarven Tower.
Maybe don't say that out loud, friend. There are a lot of people in Orthult right now who would kill you for that information.
Gnarl, this is Ragnar, and I'm gonna quickly introduce the group. Guys, this is Gnarl. He's one of my brother-in-laws. He's married to my sister Orchid.
Wait, hold on.
You have the most fascinating family.
Hold on. So, the people of Orth are looking for a weapon?
No, the Orc tribes are.
The Orc tribes are. And I think we may also have a bit of a lead on that weapon, brother, but we should talk about that later.
And a word of advice, do not trust the pink-haired noble if you see her.
Yes.
She is a necromancer.
What are you talking about?
Listen, there's been... So, you know how Versentia normally takes jobs occasionally to help people get through the Gnarl Marshes and whatnot?
Nods.
Okay, so one time she asked for me to do a favor to take these guys here in her place because she said she had some sort of temple building something or another. I thought she was doing a fancy art project. Now I'm starting to think she's doing something more important, but that's something we'll get to later.
She's a Desnan. She's doing both.
Yes, but yes. Essentially, from what I have gathered, there is a group called the Whispering Way. They're a secretive order of magic users who study necromancy. And they seek to basically turn this entire place into an undead landmine or kingdom or whatever the hell. They're masters of hiding in the shadows and manipulating others. They nearly got Monroe killed. And they did get Carlin.
Keep nods solemnly.
I'm not looking forward to telling Orchid about that. But that's something that can wait, too. Long story short, these bastards have been messing around in the Gnarl Marshes in basically its entirety. We met Jotal here, who was investigating a matter for his tribe in near Timberfall, and he told us about this tribe, and we've been working with other, the Cicelia tribe. Timberfall has been mobilizing what we can. We've even gotten some allies from Restov.
We got a pet hodag. It's really cool.
A pet hodag?
Yes.
Snooty is not a pet.
He's an outdoor hodag cat.
Oh my god.
He's really cool.
Yes.
Gnarl just kind of covers his mouth, laughs a little.
I told you, I'm good with animals.
You are.
Either way.
And there's the Gathlings organizing with us as well.
Right. Forgive me, I tend to discount them considering the fact that Good is cracking jokes.
Mayor of your adjacent city.
Well, do not discount any potential ally.
Gathlians.
How also can you discount sentient creatures with wings? You act like we're going to war. Certainly I would love to have more friends who could fly.
Yes.
Can jump really high, does that
count? That reminds me, I can fly now, but I'll get to that later.
You can't do anything because you ate a goddamn plot cookie.
Well, later. Also,
I can
Jeff, you're
jump
coming
really
through
high.
roll
Does that
20.
count for something?
Jeff, you're coming through roll 20 again, by the way. I thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, I clicked the wrong thing. There we
It's
Cool.
better now.
go. Nope.
Um,
Yeah, okay. No,
Yeah.
looks like it's popping up still. Go away. There we go.
It's a very majestic sound effect. I'm just gonna once again I've been at the brunt of one too many of their jokes recently. Forgive my impatience with them.
Nods.
Yeah, that may have been my fault.
Speaking of which, we should probably go find Orchid and so I can tell you everything. And she can be there and we can get all of our stuff together.
Like I said,
We're hoping
she's
this.
not here. She's back with the rest of the Torn Tusks. We, and he, at this point, a couple of other like orcs and half-orcs have made their way vaguely in your direction. You don't recognize any of the symbols they're wearing. Once word reached the tribes that there was the rumor originally was that Gorham himself was buried somewhere in these lands. From there, it goes to Gorham's sword, Gorham's avatar's sword. The rumors get wilder and wilder depending on who you ask, but it got the tribes into a frenzy. Everyone wants a piece of it. The tribes fell on each other.
So
There is a.
You go.
Yeah. I think we might have an idea as to where that weapon lies. We've run across spirits, undead, not created by the not by the Whispering Way, but instead by a bounding of servitude to, we believe, Gorham himself, as that's kind of the holy symbol they were wearing, mentioning how they were protecting a dwarven sort of armory or something, where
they were not protecting, they were looking for something. It may or may not lie there.
We think that there is a powerful artifact beneath a stone tower not too far from Timberfall. I'm saying this really quietly, by the way, so that way the other orcs don't hear this.
Okay.
And let's say hypothetically that if we were to find it, we would be able to control the orc armies? Would they follow us?
Or they would try to kill you. There are some who want it for their own power. There are some who want to leave it buried so no one can find that power. No one can agree. And it's resulted in violence. We, and he again gestures kind of broadly, represent those who would like to make friends. We don't necessarily have a unified voice or leader. If I'm frank with you, I would have rather stayed home with my love and my hordes. But they needed someone to lead the... And at this point, he's kind of made his way back over towards the Gorthex. The Gorthek that before was so uncomfortable, Gnarl gets really close to it and it leans in to sniff him. And Gnarl kind of like sniffs back that direction.
Wait a second. Is that Shaggy? Oh my god, he's all grown up!
They do
just
grow
like
up.
A tiny baby.
They do grow up so fast.
Wow.
Many of this lot fail to understand anything more than just run at it and crush it, let alone the finer points of tactics and strategy. I'm here to make sure these fools don't get themselves killed. We haven't found a leader yet, but from what I'm given to understand, he turns towards Yatil and in Draconic. Your elders will only speak to one of us. They seem to want some kind of... He pinches the bridge of his nose. I don't understand it. It's mostly frustrating, and it feels like we've been here for days longer than we needed to.
Why is he pinching his nose?
Just in general frustration that he's been here for too long.
Well, you don't need to pick a leader that will lead you forever. It could just be a representative, someone who has your best opinion.
And no one does.
If you speak Draconic, that would be a strong push for you to be the voice due to the fact you speak their native tongue. That's a more powerful bargaining chip.
He nods.
But I imagine you've already thought of this.
Most of the assembled here don't want me to speak for them anyway, what with the Well, you know, your sister.
She
Would
could
it
kick
take
any
to
of the.
convince them otherwise?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
What would it take to convince them otherwise?
Generally speaking, the way things have been since someone said there was a super weapon to the war god, more blood. However, I'm not stupid enough to get us all expelled from the city over, what, punching someone in the nose?
Oh, you are the smartest orc I have ever met. I assure you. I trust you in that, in your judgments. This is a very concerning matter, to be sure, but at the very least, now we have your back. You got more backup that you can actually trust to not stab you in your sleep. Are they at least honorable enough to wake you up before they try to stab you?
They wouldn't dare.
Well, he says this half jokingly, half not jokingly, knowing the tribes.
Mm.
And besides, let's also both be honest, if Orchid was here, she'd kick all of their asses at once.
He kind of just looks at everybody who looks uncomfortable when you say Orchid. He laughs, just, you are correct. In any case, having friends here will be helpful to get my bearings.
I will say in Orcish to all of them, how's my sister been treating you all?
They all just kind of like take a step back. Some of them go to where there are like bones that haven't set the best.
I nod. Just like a grin cracks across my face. Sometimes there is a benefit to living in a family of a bunch of muscle-bound crazy assholes.
Indeed. And that is where we're going to call it. I didn't think we were going to a big old Iruxi city when we started this one, but hey, what do you know? Sometimes
Where
on
did you
Spoopy...
see this going?
Not an Iruxi city. And then we picked up an Iruxi who had an Iruxi city.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like tonight. I was like, I thought that was the plan. But
Oh,
okay.
no, it was definitely the plan
Okay.
tonight.
Well,
10 out of 10.
Well, I wasn't expecting to get maple syrup in my ear tonight either, so...
Well,
How the fuck did you get maple syrup in your
well,
ear?
we already went over this. Emmy's really high right now. In any case, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more stuff. We will be back at it next week for more Spoopy Kingmaker. Till then, say bye, y'all.
Bye!
Bye.